Countdown. No countdown. Well, we're live, playing in traffic. Your host, Ray Guarino, with the great, mean Mr. Papa Squirrel sitting in with me. Lewis Lee is out tonight due to he's a little under the weather, so he asked me to run this shindig, and I said, yeah, sure, I can do that. So I'm used to this the point now where I usually give the phone number where people can call in, but of course they can't do that. So I keep thinking I'm on the radio, but I'm not. So
no, actually, people can see you when you flip somebody off.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I have to watch out for, live recordings and that, especially when I was in the Air Force and they would record one of my classes to critique me on.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to be careful not to give them something to really critique me on.
I just watched a YouTube video, literally, just before I came down here. A person I never saw before. She's, I guess, an English coach, and she was talking about how to tighten up your language, especially when you're going to speak in public or in professional settings. And it's interesting because I have a couple kids now who are both going to go through some job interviews. Oh, here's our guy. Hey, Johnny. And what she was talking about was all the ways you can, instead of being verbose, be more concise in your speech, which is something that everybody, myself included, always needs to do. But unless you're talking with the boys and you're hanging out, and then it's all, you're hanging out with this guy over here.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
I haven't been concise in my speech since I retired 23 years ago.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. And it was just like yesterday.
Well, again, it depends on the venue that you're in, because you can get away with it. And I remember this woman, what she said echoed in me, because when I went back to school many years ago as an adult and taking classes, going for another degree, and the teacher was not that much older than I was, but we had a writing exercise, and I like to write. So she gave it back to me and said, it was very good. The topicality was great. She goes, but you're a little verbose, meaning like, hey,
you're real bullshit artist.
So she worked with me, right, on how to, tighten it up. And I'm thinking, watching Bell and the Drells, tighten up. But it's true. There's we use a lot of words. Oh, it's a great song. There's a lot of words we use that we don't need to. So,
no.
Yeah.
Speaking of being tightened up, here he is, fresh from the Vegas tour. Man, Brian.
Yay!
How's the weather out there?
Did you bring us any samples?
Really?
No samples.
I saw something on Instagram where they debuted this huge toolbox. What the hell did they call it? It had a really cool name too. Something with an X-izer in it.
Maximizer? That's a Mac
that's
thing.
Mac.
That's where.
It's
really?
Max had the Maximizer for 30 years now?
Well, you know what? Okay. Then that wouldn't be the first time I confused a Mac and a Maco ad, because they look similar.
The only thing we redesigned or uplifted the 4 Series box. That was the big. And we got a new cart that has a file cabinet on the side of it it's a power drawer to hold all your power tools. I mean, your battery power tools and so forth. So we did that, and that was really it for the toolbox. It was the upgrade in the 4 Series.
Are you at? Wait a minute. This is a Matco. It was a Matco one. Yeah.
Ooh.
It's a blue. It's a big blue toolbox. There it is. That's Matco, brother. Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the number 4. It's a Series 4.
That's a 4S.
But they called it. Oh, they called it the Ape Zilla. That's what it is.
Oh. It was probably purple. It was probably that purple color.
It's. I could see where you could say it's purple. Yeah.
You guys are into Barney, huh?
But they opened one of the drawers of this thing, and they didn't show inside, but it looked like you could climb in there.
Yeah. They
That would help.
Back in the day, it was called Indigo Blue. And even I made the first mistake. Somebody goes, "Hey, I want one of those Indigo Blue boxes." And I ordered a box, and of course it comes and it's kind of purple.
Yeah. I like purple.
Yeah. And the guy's like, "This ain't blue." And I said, "You're right." Called them up. I said, "Man, I ordered a box." And they says, "Indigo Blue." And I said, "Yeah, it's purple. Learn your colors." Gee, thanks.
So, Brian, did you get
You
the
would
box?
think they'd send you a chip chart.
Yeah.
Oh, there is.
You know, on a
we have
keyring,
one. Yeah.
metal painted
Yeah.
with coated with each color, and you go, here you go, pick it out.
Yeah.
Did you get the boxes out in time that you wanted to get rid of before the show? Before you?
No.
No, huh? Okay.
No.
So, are you at liberty to talk about highlights from the expo, or is it you got to keep on the?
Oh yeah, no. We it was fairly interesting. Big turnout. I mean,
Could tell
it was a big turnout.
Tell you
Got to talk to. I spent some time with Luke and from Easy Red.
Good.
He showed me some top secret stuff that's coming that he's presented, and hopefully it would go. But oops. Hold on 1 minute.
Drop your triangle over there, or is it dinner time? Bang, 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 bang.
Oh, that's funny.
Funny.
This has been a very weird week.
In what way?
I've been watching those live videos from Sick Week.
I've been watching some. There's just so many. You don't know what to watch unless you have a.
Well, this is a week where I had to do a boatload of driving.
Yeah.
So with the phone plugged in the car, I go on YouTube.
Yeah.
And it actually plays the video on the phone.
Right.
But the audio comes through the speakers.
Okay.
So I could just listen to what's going on. And it makes me want to rethink my life. When I have to watch a 1980s square box Volvo run 680s at over 200 miles an hour with an LS and a turbo, I say to myself, why am I bothering to do any of this? Because I'll never run those speeds. I mean, it's insane. The technology is there, and I'm the dinosaur that's got 2 feet in the grave, and just my brontosaurus neck is sticking out of the ground.
Hey,
it's a young man's game, John. You know that.
Stars.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable, though. I mean, I saw pure shit boxes running low 7s.
Yeah,
cars that are running on 9-inch tires, going faster than my Trans Am went back in the 90s. These guys are running mid 8s and low 8s on a 9-inch slick.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and very few of those cars are big motor nitrous cars. Everybody's got turbos.
Think of all the hours you could have saved in chassis work doing that.
Yeah, I know. Really.
But like I said, it's a young man's game.
I should have just picked up some junkyard crap, pulled a motor out of a pickup truck, and threw it in there and said, "Let's go racing."
But that's not your style. I would say.
No, I'm recreating history. So.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying even if you weren't recreating history,
and it's from my own head. I'm recreating history that a lot of people know about, but I'm recreating from me. It's I don't give a shit about anybody else.
Exactly.
Really.
But even if you weren't, that kind of thing isn't your style.
Right.
You have a style. So now, like, if you wanted a side project and throw something together, yeah, that's a cool thing to do on the cheap.
Well, I want to run the black 81 in that. Yeah. And if I don't show up with a car that's faster than it was in early 90s, then why? So I don't know. We'll see what happens. If I decide to put twin turbos on that thing, everybody's going to be like, "But dude, it was a nitrous car back then. Why did you do this?" Because I mean, I would still stay with a conventional, aluminum head big block. I'm not into that LS stuff, although it's kind of amazing what they're getting out of them.
Yeah.
But think about a 632 cubic inch big block with twin turbos. You could push 3,000 horsepower.
You have to learn how to drive all over again.
Yeah. Well, I got to learn how to drive all over again anyway, since I let my pro stock license expire back in 2001.
But it's like picking up a set of drumsticks. You're relearning something that you already know, and you have muscle memory deep ingrained.
Yeah. The thing I don't like is staging a turbo car.
Yeah, you got to bump
of the
it.
spooling time.
Yeah.
Because and it's it's weird because you've got nobody's running a Lenko like that. I would tend to believe that trying to tune a turbo car with a clutch is extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I see what guys go through with automatics, constantly changing converters, moving the vanes inside the converters, different stuff to get it to fine tune. But I really have huge issues with, they come in, they turn on the top beam, they hit the trans brake, and then they've got that second button on the steering wheel that momentarily releases the brake. And it's like a quick relay.
Right.
And you see on these in-car cameras, the guy's like boom, 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 boom with his thumb. And what you see outside is just so violent.
Yeah.
The slick spins, the car rocks.
Yeah.
It just literally tears the crap out of the whole drive line.
First time I saw that, I thought it was a false start.
Yeah. This
the hell
bump deal, to me, that's the reason that these guys running these automatic transmissions and these gear vendors boxes, these overdrive units, they blow stuff up.
Yeah.
It's because they're spooled up, they're making heat and power, and they're banging that trans brake on and off to get the car into the next beam.
Yeah. Because
if you don't spool up before you fully stage, you're dead in the water.
You're not going anywhere, right?
Yeah. So I kind of like the idea of turbos because, yes, you can make a boatload of power, and you don't even need mufflers when you run turbos.
Right.
The car is quiet, But in a race application, I just think it's going to tear up stuff.
I think it would be more fun to have one as a car that you drive and have fun with than race.
Yeah.
Until you get really, really good at it.
What's the sense of, having something that makes 2,500 to 3,000 horsepower on the street? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's an accident waiting to happen.
Yeah.
So
I was watching
I'll stick with my big motor with nitrous with my Lenko transmission, and I'll probably run high sevens, and that'll be the end of that. Which is it's a half a second faster than the car was back then with an automatic.
I was watching someone early on last week over the weekend, and I think it's one of the guys you said and he was pulling a Lenko because they had the in-car camera. And he was pulling the Lenko. And the other thing I saw on one of the guys with an automatic, I know what it was. No, I watched so much different stuff. The thing actually shifted itself forward.
Yes. Yeah, you could literally see the shifter go boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it didn't go too far, but it actually shifted forward. I'm like, when did that happen?
They all use this very weird shifter. It's very narrow.
Yeah.
And it's got a handle.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, the gate is like up and down like a Z.
Uh-huh.
So it's like you need to trigger it to move into each selective gear.
Right.
And they're running turbo 400s, and some of them are turbo 400s that only use 2 gears, only because the 400 is stronger.
Right.
But yeah, there's a lot of guys that have these solenoids setups on the shifters.
Okay.
What's it, the guy that Bailey, the guy that put this whole thing on?
Uh-huh.
He's got that in his car.
Right.
It's shifted off a chip.
That's probably what I saw. It's probably
on the MSD. Right. He puts it into gear, and then it's 2 hands on the wheel because one's the trans brake, and then the left hand, his thumb, is the bump button to bump him in.
Yeah.
And then when he leaves the line, once he gets bumped in, he moves his left thumb out of the way, and he gets off the trans brake with his right thumb, and he just holds onto the wheel with 2 hands, and the shifter, boom, boom, It
That
makes the
makes sense.
shifts automatically.
Because I think you sent me a link to that video, and that's what I watched first.
Yeah. And he blew his motor up first day.
That Camaro was a nice looking car, though.
Oh, that car is sick.
You know, they were showing clips of other cars to come, and there was a
Yeah.
guy with, I think, like a 67 or a 68, a bright orange convertible with the top
Yes.
down. All you saw was the
Yeah.
roll cage. I'm like, holy sh, that's cool.
Yeah, I was talking to him when I was there.
Well, yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's totally cool.
Another
Did you
nice
see
one.
Did you see the that big fat wagon?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
I watched the whole
insane?
video on his. That guy he's cool as hell.
He's an engine builder. He designed his own engine.
Yeah.
If you wanna study somebody, that's the guy to study. I forget his name.
I like the fact that
he literally builds race engines that are like billet blocks.
Yeah.
And it's his design block, his design heads.
Right.
And they are like crazy expensive, but they make a ridiculous amount of horsepower.
Yeah.
And he sells blocks that are solid. He sells blocks that have water jackets in them. And both he and Bailey, because Bailey runs his engines, are running water jacketed blocks in this race so they could drive them on the street.
Uh-huh.
But that wagon is insane. You got to see the detail work. Those wooden panels on the side, are painted.
Yeah, he was showing that.
It's you walk up to that thing and you think it's like a Squire wagon with a wood grain, and then you look at it and go, "Oh my God, this is all paint."
That was a Roadmaster. He did a walk around and he showed how, like, you gotta, all the doors works, but you gotta open the front door to get into the back.
Yes, he sits all the way where the back seat was.
And he showed the big swing away steering column, that huge column that just swings away to get in.
It's the only way to get in there.
He lost the door the first day.
Yes, I know. I watched them repair it. I told them, I said, if you guys need help, I'm here.
Okay, he was
like,
duct taping the windows back up to. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
very
door
impressive.
came off, and it took them like 3 hours to get that thing fixed.
Yeah, very impressive car, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of carnage in this race. It's amazing how many people blew stuff up.
Right.
And then you had the guys from Roadkill were there.
Okay,
your, Finnegan and your favorite guy.
Yeah, my buddy.
Your buddy. They bought a Florida car from Craigslist.
Oh God.
Sight unseen. A third generation Firebird.
Okay.
With like a 305 in it. The guy that originally owned it, it was a 305 or a 350. They weren't sure. They didn't get all the information. And he put a 6-speed manual behind it.
Okay.
And they literally burned the clutch out of it like day one.
Really?
Yeah.
I was watching
and they actually had to repair that thing on the run.
Okay. I was watching Derek from Vice Grip Garage. He brought two cars, the Chevelle and the Monte Carlo. And I was just watching his exploits tonight from like in between the tracks. He flipped his trailer and had all sorts of, he's always got problems, and he's always in the worst car,
Yep.
So
unreal.
Yeah.
It was great. So they'll be in they were in South Georgia Motorsports Park today. And I know Glenn Hunter ripped off a good run early in the morning.
Yeah. And
he hightailed it out of there. So I'm on my way. They wound up going down 75 to Don Garlett's museum.
Okay.
And tomorrow morning, I believe the schedule is it starts later tomorrow because it's a long run.
Right.
So I think almost everybody is literally staying in that area where Garlett's museum is because they're having a big party there. They said at 4:00.
Okay.
And then
that's
tomorrow, Ocala, yeah. Then tomorrow's Bradenton is the last day.
Right.
So they'll make runs and then they give out the awards. So I'm gonna stop in there tomorrow. I have a very light day.
Nice.
Yeah, so it'll work out good. So it's cool.
Okay.
I would love to see a class where you had to fucking shift the car like you did in the 60s.
Yeah.
4-speed.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Four
Well,
speed.
They have that.
Follow the Southeast Gas Association. Tony Scott.
There's a class at this race
Big blocks and four
called
speed.
stick shift.
Yeah.
And my friend Frank Romano's in it.
Okay.
And he's got a 55 with a big block with a 4-speed.
Nice.
Yeah, I think that takes skill to do a 4-speed.
Yeah. It's a big all steel 55.
Wow.
He revs that thing up and he leaves the line, wheels up, and he bangs gears. Boom, 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 boom. 4-speed out the back. I think, and I'm pretty sure the car runs in the 8s.
Wow. Very nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's awesome. And it's a big, heavy steel car.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he doesn't even run a real big tire either. He runs I think he runs like a 12 or 13-inch tire.
Wow.
So it's cool. It's really cool. He gets a lot of ink out of that because he goes to drag week.
Right.
And he's very verbose.
Yeah, there we go. All right.
And he's a blast. He's a former customer. We built him a Box Nova.
Okay.
Pro Street Box Nova. And I asked him about that the other day. He says, I just sold that car 2 weeks ago. After all of these years, we built that car in like 1994, I think we built that car.
Okay.
And he's had it the whole time.
Wow.
Small block with a 4-speed, narrowed rear, unbelievably beautiful, bright, metallic citrus orange.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, with an orange and white interior, vinyl, nice leather interior. Oh yeah, awesome car. Roll cage is painted to match the body.
Yeah,
the whole deal. But he said he sold it to a really good friend of his. Somebody that he actually went to high school with. He goes, so if I ever want to drive it, all I got to do is go to his house.
Right.
So,
that's good.
Yeah, it's really good. So where is everybody tonight?
Lewis is under the weather. Him and his wife are not feeling well, so he did it. He tapped out. So
must have been that roof raising was a super spreader event.
I wonder if he sniffed too much of the glue that they used for all that stuff.
You never know.
Because I know when they stuck me one time in the Air Force to painting this building. Painting this building with an acid wash or an acid etch and not telling me to wear safety gear.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I wound up in big trouble.
That'll get you.
Sure.
Headaches and everything else. And then one day the heart goes, oof, and the sac dried up and they put me in the hospital.
Wow. That's horrible.
Look at this. Speaking of gases and beautiful exhaust systems.
There you go.
Dude, I got to tell you, I can look at your work all day. It is phenomenal.
Well, thank you.
Really phenomenal.
I'm going to start calling you Justin Pipes.
John, the way he lined up all the cuts and welds of the headers, they all line up. It's like, holy shit, who does that?
That's difficult.
Very nice.
It's tough. It's been a fun one, though.
Very.
You got to finish the rest of the exhaust, and it's all going to get sent out to get ceramic coated.
And you're doing 3-inch on an X chassis, which is not easy to do.
Yeah.
No.
And I love the way it curves in, hugs along the drive shaft, and then it kind of spine. I guess it curves in where it goes through that. I guess it's a cross member.
Yeah.
Do you have like a cross member with holes in it or something for them to?
Yeah, there's the trans cross member on that Roadster Shop chassis.
Yeah.
They've got a phenomenal setup. They really do. So,
those guys are great.
Yeah.
It's amazing. You watch a lot of these TV shows of, these guys that build all these bazillion-dollar, cars, and they all have Roadster Shop chassis in them.
We have...
What's his face? The guy out in Utah?
Kindig.
Yep.
Kindig. Yeah. Every time they build a car, they don't build a chassis.
No.
They go to Roadster Shop,
It used to be Fat Man. That was the chassis of choice years ago.
Yeah. I was watching, a couple of episodes, and my wife came in, and I said, "Look at this." I said, "This guy has all of these customers that have like sacks of money to just throw at a car."
Yeah.
And he winds up with these cars sometimes for 2 years.
Oh yeah.
To do a build. And he doesn't even build the chassis. He just orders the chassis and sticks it under the car. And it still takes the guy 2 years to build the car.
It's all the detail work they do, yeah.
Well, she says, well, I don't know. What kind of fabricators would they be then? I know they're glorified body men. You know?
Yeah, I think we have 3 Roadster shop chassis in the shop right now.
Yeah.
2 of them owned by the same guy.
Chassis.
Yeah.
You know? They're phenomenal chassis, but me being a chassis guy, I'm like, I could build it.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we have a jig when we do our Willies. Yeah, we just write in-house build chassis.
Sure. So, yeah, I see that on all of them. Every one of those guys. Count Customs, what's his face?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys caught it or not. That guy with the wagon at Sick Week is Steve Morris.
That's the guy. Morris Engines, yeah.
He's about 2.5, 3 hours from us up in Michigan.
Stuff is unbelievable. Crazy motors that he builds with those billet heads.
Yep.
Yeah, he's a
phenomenal stuff.
Nightmare, that dude. Yeah, I'd love to have him one of his motors, one of his turbo motors or something. God, but I can imagine what the price tag must be on that. You could buy a house for one of those engines.
Win the lottery! Come on now.
Yeah.
Trust me, if I'm trying. If I win the lottery, nobody will ever see me again.
Yeah. Where are you gonna go?
I don't know. I'd be totally honest with you. There's a piece of property in Apollo Beach on the water. It's on Tampa Bay. Apollo Beach is this little kind of town south of where I am. And there used to be a Hilton Hotel on the water at the end of Apollo Beach Boulevard. And they started building houses on either side. And nobody wanted to stay in that hotel anymore. It turned out to be a non-tourist area because basically there was nothing around. There was limited shopping centers, the whole deal. So the hotel went out of business. They wound up knocking the building down and just clearing out the land. And it's about 3 acres. It's like 600 feet of ocean front seawall.
Nice.
Right? And it's been up for sale for a couple of years. And I'm like, if I win the lottery, I'm buying that property. I'm building a huge house and a gigantic shop that I could get a tractor trailer, pull it right into the shop from the street, load the cars up on top, have the workshop on the bottom, and have all of my toys in one building separated from the main house.
And where do you put the rocking chair and the blanket?
Who knows?
On the front porch.
Right on the front porch. That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Looking out at the
actually on the back porch, looking out at the water. Build a nice dock out there, and then get a fishing boat and get one of those pontoon cigarettes.
Boats. Okay.
Pontoon boats are cool. Yeah,
they are.
But I would buy like a cigarette or something and start hanging out with some of these other people that I know that do these poker runs down to the Keys.
Right.
Is that all they run?
Yeah.
I know. I watch my friend Steve. He's got a boat. I forget the name of the company, but they're like down in Miami. Beautiful, beautiful boat with twin Mercury outboards on it. I think they're like 400 horse each.
Wow.
And this boat will go 85 miles an hour in the ocean. And the thing that amazes me the most is you watch this helicopter footage when they're doing these poker runs, and they trim these things. The water comes in kind of like around the middle of the boat.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Or just behind the middle of the boat.
Right.
And, there's telemetry on the side, and they're telling you that the chop is like 4 to 5 feet.
Wow.
Yet these boats are going 80 miles an hour, and they're just going
skimming over the top. Yeah.
Zipping.
Skimming over the top. It's like my little boat. I get a 1.5 foot chop. I'm bang, bang.
Yeah.
It's It's
Right.
ridiculous. It slaps and there's that noise.
Yeah.
And you think you're going to blow the bow out of the boat,
Yeah.
It's unreal.
Well, I just read you'll down in Freeport in a nautical mile, way at the end at the south end, there was a restaurant called the Schooner, and
Yes.
we used to go there all the time. Well, it finally closed up. Sandy took it out, and they closed it. They finally knocked it down, and what they're doing is they're building a hotel there, but they're raising it so that the first floor is not going to be on ground level. It's going to be like the first 15 feet are going to be, you can look through the building in case there's ever another Hurricane
Right.
Sandy or flood. And they're going to do like rooftop stuff and overhangs, and now people can go and stay for the first time on the nautical mile and just come out of the hotel and walk up and go to all the bars and clubs and whatever.
That's
And
cool.
so they're trying to reinvent Freeport once again.
Yeah. Yeah. See, down here, if you're on the water or close to the water, the building codes, you're not allowed to build on the land. Everything's elevated.
Right,
So
right.
you can have a garage. You can't have what they call living space.
Living space, right.
At ground level. So you can have a garage, you know? So people wind up with like 10, 12 car garages under their house,
Sure.
all kinds of room, a little workshop or something. And then if there's a extreme high tide or a big problem, a storm or something like that, they're not losing anything,
Well, what's
unless
in
they
the
got
garage?
cars there. Yeah.
No, then you got to do like those flood doors. I saw them in South Carolina, where there was a channel at the hotel, and I asked him about it. He says, "Yeah, it's a flood door. We can close. We slide a door through that, and it's like it's a locked channel that'll keep the water out. I mean, once it starts getting high, and the pressure increases, there's a limit to everything. But
Sure. That's cool.
God
The
knows
more you plan for that stuff, the better nature likes it, because she likes to sit there and bend you
The
over.
the more you plan for it, the less of a chance that it'll even happen.
Well, that's true too.
Unless you live in California.
Yeah.
Then anything's possible.
I was like, I'm watching the news, and it's like California is burning down to the ground. Every week, there's another fire somewhere else in California.
There's another guy I'm watching on YouTube. He's this big, heavy German guy. He's called like the Venice guy. I don't know. He does a lot of he goes around on a scooter, and he shows these homeless encampments. And he was in Stockton, where Arco is from.
Yeah.
They did another one at Venice Beach. They took over Venice Beach, and he says what they do is they go in the median area in the road. It says once a week, the health department and whoever else comes through and says, listen, they give them a warning. You got to move everything off of here by Friday. They come in Friday, they clean everything, they dump all the trash, and then everybody just moves back. And they get another week out of it. So he says they're just constantly moving. And some of them are on the beach, on Venice Beach. It's like places you didn't think would be infiltrated have been infiltrated.
Sure.
And you look at it, it's like, oh my God.
And you got to feel bad for these people, but there are people that's their life. They don't give a shit about anything else. They're not willing to put in the work and become legit. They're just going to live off the government, whatever they can get. And, Nancy and her crew, they could really give two craps because they live behind giant walls in mansions. And they don't give a shit what goes on in California. And that's why that state is dying.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
That state is dying because we got too damn many liberals in the city who say that you should give everything to the poor people who don't have a job or don't want to work.
Exactly. Have you hugged a tree today?
Yeah, 24 years I spent in the Air Force taking a chance on my little body being filled full of holes. I was lucky. Nothing like that ever happened, but it could have.
Yeah.
Sure.
So now I'm sponging off the government, by God, and I'm going to live as long as I can.
Sure.
And sponge off them.
I've always been the person that says that what our government does to our military people, it should be illegal. If you sign up or are drafted and go to war to protect this country, I believe that this government should have $1 million check waiting for your ass when you get back, no matter what condition you're in. and they should give you a financial advisor that's not a government person, but a company that does financial planning that's going to show you how that $1 million check you got from Uncle Sam is going to keep going for the rest of your life.
Well, I
That's
got friends
because
of mine.
you
I
sacrificed your
wish
life
they'd do that.
for this country. And I really think that that gigantic budget that this country's got for the military, they should take care of you the right way. Because the shit that goes on in the VA is fucking illegal.
Yeah, I have some
The way
friends that
they
went through the
treat
VA
vets
system.
is disgusting.
Yeah,
They do not honor you and what you've done the way it
No.
should be. That's the biggest problem that this country's got. They don't give a shit. They use you up and then they kick you to the curb. And it's not right. It's
No,
absolutely
I
not
agree
right.
with you on that. I was lucky. I was really lucky. I dodged all the bullets. Didn't go anywhere horrible.
My
Treated
dad,
an awful.
my dad was in the military during the Korean War. And he was in Arizona peeling potatoes the whole time.
Yeah.
He never left. They never moved him out. Went through basic training, got shipped to Arizona, and that's where he stayed the whole time.
he was lucky.
Amazing. Yeah. Totally
But
lucky.
see, I figured that I'd better be careful because my dad used up all the luck in the military.
Yeah.
He spent 4 years in the Philippines, World War II,
Wow.
in the Philippines. Bad place.
Yeah.
3 years in Korea.
Jungle.
Oh, God, yes. 3 years in Korea. He was only supposed to spend 1.
Oh wow.
And they kidnapped his ass because Mom was looking for my dad for about 4 months. He didn't come home one night. And she's like, where the fuck is Willie? Well, she's sitting in the theater and they have a movie tone. You know, remember those newsreels they used to show in the theater?
Yeah.
There's Dad being interviewed in
God.
Korea. So she calls up a cousin who calls up a cousin in Congress because Mississippi's really kind of inbred, you know. And that's where my start came from. And the cousin went over to the Pentagon, and nobody could tell him where Dad was.
Wow.
They had no record of him. What it was is I think Dad was in special combat. You know, the type of people they send someplace and say, nobody went there.
Right.
Yeah. Here's
Because
your
I know when
mission,
Dad got,
and if you fail, we don't know you.
Right.
no, we don't.
Disavow all
Yeah.
information.
Exactly.
I laughed about that because my old man was a son of a bitch in a lot of ways for that. But he told me if I went in the Army, he'd kill me
Oh gosh.
because it'd save him worrying about me all this time while I was in, you know. So I went into the Air Force dodging the draft.
Oh gosh.
Hey, unless you're a door gunner in Vietnam, that didn't help
I
any.
found out some stuff too. I was doing some back probing into my father's military history. He was a lifer, and in the Navy, he was a chief petty officer. But I found his documentation, these classes he took, and was certified in jet engines before we had jet planes,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all dated. I mean, this stuff was, and I could see like where remember he was all over the world. He was always bringing stuff home, fezzes. I knew what a fez was when I was like 5 years old. You know, the
Yeah.
fez had it, and stuff from Morocco and Africa. I was like, what the hell is he doing there? But I'm putting all the pieces together, and then I find this jet engine stuff. Like, wait a minute, this predates jet airplanes in the military.
That's
So again, a lot of
pretty
stuff
wild.
was done. You know, they used guys for what their best purpose was, and they don't tell nobody. You know, just do your job, and and then they're done with you.
Oh yeah. One of my uncles, very mild-mannered individual, about 5'7", probably weighed 30 pounds when he was young. Actually worked on the Manhattan Project.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
sure.
He typed up all of the papers for the Manhattan Project.
Yeah.
All of the papers. So he knew more about the damn project than probably anybody else. Never knew he worked on it till after he died.
Right.
Yeah.
He kept his mouth shut. He wouldn't tell anybody.
I
Really
read
couldn't.
something that quite a few of those guys, those scientists that were working on that project, when they realized what they had done, they committed suicide.
And the reason is everybody had a piece of
Right.
expertise to do.
Nobody
you didn't
had
know
the
what
whole.
the other guys
Nobody
were
had the
doing.
whole recipe.
Right. Nobody. Right. Exactly. And so you really didn't know what you were doing. You just knew you were doing something that you were trained. You had training in. And
Right.
but the funny thing is, when they have these guys and the families out in Nevada, set them up on a hill with a pair of welding glasses and a box lunch with the wives and kids to watch the freaking nuclear explosions. Like,
Yeah.
oh my
Unbelievable.
God.
Oh,
That's
they
crazy. I read something the other day that that Bikini Island, Bikini Atoll, where they did the tests,
Yeah.
still to this day has a very, very high nuclear radiation signal.
I wouldn't doubt that at all.
That
I
they
saw
saturated the crap out of that little island.
I saw a
Yes,
show
they did.
years ago, before the internet was really what it is, and they were talking about food. And they said, back in 1941, 42, they said, or 40, you could, a bowl, they broke down what was in a bowl of salad. And they showed you the nutrients in the lettuce and the carrots and all the things you put in salad. And they said, today's equivalent, you'd need like bushels of lettuce to get the same nutrients that were in a bowl of lettuce back then.
Everything's baked out of it thanks to science.
Well, and they said, so why is that? And the one theory was, after all the the dates lined up. After all the nuclear testing we started doing, of course, that irradiates the air, the soil, the water.
Yeah.
It just started killing the crops from the bottom, and nobody knew. So I was like, wow, things you never really thought about. Like, we did it on our own soil. We did it to ourselves. But there was a famous music producer, and you know what he did, John. Tom Dowd is the guy's name.
Oh yeah.
The guy engineered everybody. A lot of Southern rock bands, the Allman Brothers. He was a classically trained musician, and he was going to Columbia. He ended up becoming a physicist at the time. He was studying, for a biochemical degree. This is back again in the very early 40s, and they cherry picked him to work on the Manhattan Project, and they sent him out to the Midwest. He worked a couple different places, and now, after he was done, he had worked on the most up-to-date technology at that time in the world. He goes back to Columbia to finish his degree, and he said he wanted to get like credit for what he had done, and of course he couldn't say everything he did, and the military didn't give him any kind of documentation. But he says, well, give me an exam, give me an oral exam, and I'll tell. He said, the stuff that they were doing there was like 30 years behind what I was doing. He says, and I just wanted to get the paper, and they wouldn't give him a degree because he didn't finish the coursework. He says, I couldn't sit in those. It's like being a Juilliard trained pianist and having to sit through basic rudimentary piano classes. He says, he goes, so I left and I followed my other love. I followed music, and he became an engineer. So he was the first guy to take the slide wire pots on the board that were slow and crackly and use round pots. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It was the other way. They were using round pots, and he went to the slide wire pots so that you could like play the board almost like a keyboard when you're mixing. So he had all these innovations in music from his engineering, his physics engineering.
That's cool.
Phenomenal stuff. I'll send you a link to the video that they did about him. It's wild. I love watching it because it's all music stuff, musical bands. He did with the electronics what Justin does with headers.
There you go. Pieces them together, weld them.
Yeah.
Cut them, weld them.
That's all stainless, that exhaust?
Yeah.
That's a lot of fun.
We
typically you gotta purge that stuff when you weld.
Yeah. We typically go with a lot of polished stuff too, but since this is getting coated, we went just some regular 409.
That ceramic coating is awesome.
I tell you, I would leave it just the way it is. I think it's gorgeous in its raw form. It shows the work.
It'll get some funky coloring, some yellows, and blues and stuff.
That's what I really like about that polished stuff is it does kind of turn that gold color and looks really cool. But the way this thing is set up in the room that there is, or lack of room, in between the chassis and the body where we've run the exhaust. It's going to help to get it coated.
Yeah, it'll look really cool.
Oh, yeah.
Raw stainless, it starts to look kind of shitty after a while from, the heat cycles, especially those first curves coming out of the head. It'll wind up going blue and purple, and then after a while, the stainless turns black, like a grayish black, and it just gets ugly, really ugly. But that ceramic coating.
That's cool.
You going with a silver that's kind of shiny?
No, like a semi-gloss black.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Everything.
Very cool.
That 509,
That's really
all
cool.
aluminum's black. Everything's going to be black.
Nice.
Oh, that'll look really good. Yeah.
It's gonna
I
be
was
pretty
really
cool.
impressed with Rocco's. We did the shiny silver.
That was very nice,
And-
too. Yeah.
They just look like jewelry,
We did that on the that 68 Camaro we built. Did the whole 3-inch exhaust in silver.
Yeah.
One I really like, we did that. We've got a 56 Chevy Gasser in the shop that has fender well headers, and we got them ceramic coated white.
Mm.
Oh, wow.
Those are gonna look-
So it's old school.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Remember the white header paint from VHT?
I had a set of fender wells for the Nomad back in the day, in the 70s, and they were cool. I wish I still had them. But when they turned down before the collector, there was a resonator built into the headers.
Wow.
And I don't know if they make them like that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. We
Weird.
I think these are a set of head-met headers or something like that. We've used them before on a Willys Gasser. They actually work really great on those too.
Back in the late 70s, don't ask me why, when I had the small block in the Firebird, I painted the headers blue.
I've seen that. I have seen that.
I
I
thought
always
it looked
wondered
real
why.
good, but then I grew out of it like within about 2 months.
I always wondered, was it
It's
like
just
a light
weird
blue,
looking.
right?
Yeah.
I've seen guys do
Not a
that.
powdery blue, but
Yeah,
but a-
but a lighter blue, not a
Here,
definitely not
like-
a dark blue. Yeah,
like this color blue.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
I've seen that. Yeah,
I
always
was like, I
wondered
guess
why.
that was some kind of fad, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know. Never caught me.
Yeah, it caught me. And then I changed it.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah. I think I wound up painting them flat black.
That usually looks pretty good.
I had aluminum coated headers for a while too. On the first big block that I put in the car, I sent them out. There was a place up in Connecticut, and they came back, but it was a very rough aluminum coating, kind of like a sand casting on an aluminum manifold.
Yes. Appliance
And
used
gosh, if they got dirty, you couldn't
Yep.
clean them. They were horrible.
to do that. That was
but everyone
appliances.
like, oh
did
yeah,
back then.
aluminum coat, Alumacoat.
Alumacoats, right.
Yeah, and Jesus.
I used to sell
That
those
was a
at the auto parts
mistake.
store. I sold a lot of those.
Yeah,
out
we
of-
used to sell them at ATV all the time.
Yeah,
That was a huge mistake.
yeah. It was a thing. You know,
Yeah, it was.
Everything's a thing at one point. It
Right.
comes back eventually.
It's true.
hey, my daughter's buying bell-bottom pants again.
You know, I was walking around the store with my wife, and I'm like, look at this.
Yep.
She goes,
Right.
yeah, if you keep anything in your closet long enough, it comes back.
Except
Yeah.
it can't fit into it.
Well, my wife could. Don't ask
Yeah,
me
well,
how.
yeah.
But yeah, there were girls walking around the mall and moms
Yep.
with elephant bells,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
That's what my younger daughter was saying. She was saying, "No, Dad, these weren't just regular. They was." I said, "It's called an elephant bell." What?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
"Yeah, they were bell bot. There were flares. There were bells, and there were elephant bells." I said, "I
Let me tell
wore
you
them."
something. If they wind up trending into men's clothing,
Uh,
I'll buy them,
I will
and
too.
I'll see if I can find those marshmallow platform
If you
sneakers.
do, let me know, because I used to wear marshmallows all the time. I had blue marshmallows with the white sole.
Yeah. I'll go back, and it'll be great when I get the Firebird done.
Yeah.
I'll be right back to wearing the same clothes I wore,
Right,
except
right.
everything's bigger.
Yeah.
You know,
That's too
that'd
funny.
be funny. I know. I remember a kid that was, I don't know, he was kind of nerdy in high school. He rolled into the gym with a set of those red marshmallows.
Red, yeah.
And, the bottom of those things was thick.
Yeah.
So they were like platforms.
Right.
And my gym teacher, Gil Lilienthal, he was an ex-NFL player.
Ah,
He slammed this guy into the wall.
really?
Behind the basketball nets, there were mats hung on the wall.
Right.
A lot of times when you're playing basketball, you can't stop.
Right.
And the wall's right there, you know. He slammed this kid into that mat, and he just like stuck to the mat and slid down to the floor. And he got up, and he was dizzy. And Gil was like, "If you ever show up in my gym with that disco shit again, I will kill you." Now go find a real pair of sneakers.
Oh, wow.
It was unreal. Yeah. Well, he got away with a lot of stuff, you know, because I'm a graduate from '76, so life was different then.
Yes, it was.
He used to play horse on the basketball court for kids' lunch money.
Oh, wow.
You know, and he was a pro. He would go all around the key, and these kids had to pay up the lunch money, and he never got caught. But I know for a fact he was doing it.
Wow.
You know, he was tough. He was real tough. He was the football coach. He was the wrestling coach. When we played dodgeball, we had those dodgeballs that were like this big, so you could really get it in your hand. And he would
red rubber,
slam you. Yeah, the red rubber ones.
Yeah,
they would go boom when they hit you.
Yep.
Unreal. Guys would
come out of
gym
now.
class, their face would be all red. Yeah, you can't. Not at all. You can't do that stuff anymore. That's why everybody's a freaking sissy today.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing.
Did you finish everything, Brian?
Yeah. I'm sorry, guys. My neighbor is thinking about selling her house, and a friend of ours is a real estate, so we kind of sent her over because I want to try to get the inside scoop, because it's a Rambler and for my mom. So if we
I thought you sent me the link so I could move in.
Still the link in the box.
I'm trying to see if I can work it, if I can get the jump, because she hasn't done anything to the house yet or tried to get it ready. She's just starting to talk about it, and I figured, well, if I can get the inside and get my mom. Years ago, we had right behind us. That house had gone into foreclosure back in the good old 2008, 2007 crash of the market. And that house sat empty for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. And I kept trying to get my dad to move, because it's basically the same thing, a Rambler, all one level and everything like that. And went around and around trying to get my dad to move over that way so they could be behind me. And it wasn't until, I don't know, 10 years later or whatever, he said he had wished he had done it because of that. So, like I said, right next door, hopefully, I don't know. Like I said, luckily, knock on wood, we've gone a week or so. Mom hasn't been back in the hospital, so hopefully we've moved on from there. But
yeah.
See. But on the expo part, the big thing was that we got into software for Tesla, software for motorcycles,
Kawasaki motorcycles.
Kawasaki, Harley Davidson, Hondas.
Right.
So we've had, this has been one of our, unfortunately, the other guy, the red and white trucks with the big S on them that everybody think means Superman or whatever, but they you pay extra for that. We've had this software, we've had this stuff in our scanner. We just didn't have, you just got to buy the adapters to do that, to read. And everybody thinks that you got to have a separate scanner for that. And we have, our stuff has that in.
Scan data.
So,
But can I be as bold as to say it's probably Matco's fault for not marketing it right?
Well, yes and no. A lot of it is unfortunately, most guys, the one thing that, and it's starting to affect Snap-on now in a way, is that they've kept their system very simple. It was yes, no. It was a rolling of a toggle, and moving, and it was ease of operation. And of course, we come in and we have an Android base touch screen, and it asks you 10,000 questions to get you going in a direction, the right direction. And most guys freak out and don't want to, it's too complicated. It takes too long. It really doesn't take that long. It's actually faster because we're doing more in one step than the other guy. But it's just a relearning of a process.
Using a scanner, and I've used many, using a scanner is like using the remote for your TV.
Right.
If you can't do it without looking at it, it's almost useless to you. You got to have that muscle memory. And when they change shit up or they come out with a new one and then they reassign buttons,
yeah.
Like I'm not 18. Maybe that's the problem. I'm not 18 anymore.
Yeah. Well, like I said, for the longest time, and actually, and I know people will argue with me about it, and there's the basic platform in the Snap-on scanner, the frameware or the base, the bulk of it has not changed in 30 years.
Okay.
And that's that tech, they've milked that technology that long. And again, that's why they get to a point where they have to start to change. And of course they're going to have a hard time, or, they're trying not to upset the apple cart too much in that. And, cause they can't do all that.
When they need to come out with a change in technology, are they smart enough to query real mechanics and say, do you want this or do you want that?
Well,
do you like this or do you like that? And then once you get that data, you'll come up with a system that's the easiest thing to use anywhere.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like asking a mechanic to build a car and an engineer that builds a car.
Well, the engineers don't know jack shit about building a
Well,
car.
I know that,
yeah,
but
but the point is, I think that John's making is it's the mechanics who are going to work on that car, so let the scanner be tailored to their world.
Right.
Yeah, but those two guys don't collide, or they can't work. I mean, you're only going to get a certain point.
No, they shouldn't. But
you're because we've done it. Trust me, we've done it with tons of other things, and say, well, why isn't it done this way? And it's just like the car being built, and at the last minute, somebody decides to put an oil filter upside down in the back corner, so when you change the oil, it all runs down into all over the car.
Let me divert since you said that. My buddy sent me a video the other day. He has his wife has a Toyota minivan, and he has a Tacoma. And they have that spin-on cartridge filter, which my daughter's RAV4 drives me nuts. There's like a center piece that you can put a
plug in it to drain the oil, and
you can just put a 3/8 extension in there. But I can never get that out. Whenever I try and loosen out the whole filter, and I torque the thing to like 25 Newton meters. I do it the right way.
Yeah.
So it's always messy. So a company came out with, John will remember this. Back up to 1967, small block Chevys had a big spin-on oil cartridge, and the freaking can was about 8 inches tall, 4 inches around, with this big filter in it. Yep. And I remember when I got my first, I had those engines, and then they came out with an adapter that you bolt to the block, and you put a regular spin-on PH8A filter on it. So that's what they're doing now for the Toyota. Yeah. I said, oh, great. Nice. It's billet. I'll get one for my daughter's car. I go look at it. It's like $259 for this adapter. It's like, get the hell out of here. What the hell are they doing? $259.
Yeah.
They're obviously not selling a lot of them, but
Closer to $2.59 for the small block Chevy one.
well, I did look it up, and I saw on either Summit or Jegs, they're selling that adapter still for about $34, $35
Yeah.
if you have an older Chevy.
I
have
got one
of those
last summer.
cans here somewhere.
Way to get one last summer for that Malibu, that 283 in it.
There you go. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. Okay, you've seen that.
Sure.
But I remember
So we
when,
had
when you had to change that oil, I think the head on the bolt was probably 3/4 at least. And it was a long bolt. And when you brought that thing down, it's holding 8 inches by 4 inches of oil.
Yeah, it was always a mess.
And it was, the poof. What a pain in the balls. I was so happy when they came out with the spin on.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know if my pictures made it to the Instagram yet or if I did it, but they had there's a whole bunch of new ones. I know everybody's showing them where they have the socket that goes on, but you can drive it with the impact. It has like a punch on it, or it goes into your impact gun.
The spring. Clay was talking about those from the PRI show.
Yeah. So we have all those. We have the ones with sockets, the ones with crow's feet, the ones for. There's a kit for O2 sensors for removing O2, and it had a thread kit.
Well, I'll tell you this. I did see the one picture you put up. So I got to ask you, what was the best thing you ate? You had a real dietetic lunch up there that you posted. I was like, holy crap.
Well, I know the funny part was we go into the Gordon Ramsay pub grill thing, right? And I said, yeah, I'll take a Coors Light. And they said, large or small? Well, I just said large. I mean, who's going to say small? And she was a petite waitress that we had. And she walks out with this mug holding like her hands even like halfway around this thing, Wow. And she walks out and sets this thing down, and it was, what was it, 53 ounces or something like that? I mean, this thing was huge, And I'm like,
you
that's
sure
a
you
large?
didn't move to Germany?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
They like those big.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Problem with something like that is by the time you're done with it, it's like room temperature.
Yeah, it's warm. Yeah.
Well, no, not with me, but
And your room temperature when you're done with it.
Right.
So, of course, we learned to ask, like, since we went to, we always go to Jimmy Buffett, Margaritaville. And, you order their nachos, and it's a plate that feeds 27 people,
Yep.
So we said, how big are the nachos? Because, they have the Chef Gordon Ramsay, with, what was it? What are those chips called? Fried? No.
Why?
Kettle cooked potato chips.
Cook. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
They were kettle cooked, and it had some kind of meat and cheese. That's how his nachos were. It had a little twist onto it, So I said, "How big are the nachos?" And she goes, "Oh, they're for one person."
King Kong.
Yeah. So we said, "You want to start with a thing of nachos?" And they come out with these nachos, and it's like, we only got to like a quarter of the way through it, and
They look good.
Yeah, they were great. But I'm like, we still have dinner coming, and I got this burger that's, I had to take off half the stuff on the burger just to get it in my fat mouth.
The burger was like 8 inches tall. It was like you need like a hydraulic jack to get your mouth. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of crazy. But that wasn't bad. When we went to Margaritaville, I'd gotten the fish tacos, and I really wish I'd gotten something else. They weren't bad, but I will have to say, at Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville was the best service that we had through the whole time being in Vegas, dude. Yeah.
That's cool.
I was there. I was at Margaritaville in Tennessee, and it was also very, very good service. Yeah.
Man, we sat down, we had water. They asked what we wanted to drink. Drinks never, I said, I want to make sure I don't run out of alcohol. No problem. And man, you got to that certain part, you got to that one line in the beer, and then another one came. You know, she was
slam it up.
She was worth every penny and more. You know.
Nice.
They have there's a Margaritaville village that they built here in Orlando.
Yeah.
You buy yourself a 2-story condo and you live in Margaritaville.
There was one in Tennessee also. Yeah,
and Barb's like, that's where we should get a retirement home.
Yeah,
she goes, because they built a beach with this wave pool, saltwater wave pool. So it's just like being on the Atlantic Ocean.
Right.
And then they got the nightclub and they got the restaurants and the hotel. And then there's all these pastel colored condos and everybody's riding around on those 3-wheel bikes, you know, or golf carts. And she's like, you could just retire there and just be drunk all day long and, you know, cook up shrimp.
Yeah,
like,
it was
great
great
on the Barbie.
Yeah.
So, but other than that, I mean, we didn't have that much. Well, we didn't really stay as long, but you know, like I said, between lunches and we had lunch, we had one dinner with Mako and lunches. So we ate at Caesar's. I did, oddly enough, at our regional meeting, they have little breaks in the meeting for giveaways, and ironically, so what they do over the years, it's been different ways, but this is how they've done it mostly, is that they get to the point and they'll call up 5 distributors, and then they have like the Wheel of Fortune, and they spin the wheel, and whatever it lands on is what you win, you know. And it could be anywhere from 5 sets of screwdrivers to
3 chickens and a goat. Right.
I mean, you know, it's just throughout the whole spectrum on what their prize giveaway is. So there's a guy in our group, and his name is Barry Berman. So we get ready, and they said, you know, number 1 is Barry Berman. And so Barry goes up, and he's in our group, you know, or our district. So the next guy was John Kelly, and he's in our district.
Wow.
So I said, and I looked over at one of the other new guys, and I said, man, it'd be really funny if we do the trifecta, and I get called.
Oh,
well,
wow.
I get called up there. Yeah. So there's 3 of us.
In the background.
So, and then they called 2 other guys from 2 other districts.
What I'm trying to ask you is am I leaning into your camera?
No.
And so all of a sudden, Barry looks back and he leans back and goes,
If you eat, are you going to be on camera?
Not
hey, Brian,
You probably should.
you realize the last time we
So
were
you
in
can eat.
Caesars, we were both on the stage.
Oh.
So I said, yeah, we both won toolboxes. So they spin the wheel. Barry gets a cart and some socket sets or whatever, you know. And I was like, wow, that's not bad. And
Is it?
they spin the wheel
I
on
didn't
John
mute it, I
Kelly. And
Oh, you don't have to mute
he
it.
gets
get the image away.
5 sets of die grinders or something like that.
Nice.
Nice set. So then, of course, I get up there and they spin the wheel, and I got 5 air ratchets and 5 sets of swiveled sockets.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was like $3,500 what mine totaled out to be.
That's cool.
Beautiful.
So I was like, all right. So, and then the guy next to me wins $1,000.
Well,
So it's
There you
all in
go.
the spin of the wheel. So, but it was
That's
pretty
awesome.
good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, last year I didn't get, but I mean, over the years, of course, when you say 20 years of me being in, I mean, I've won boxes. The best ever that I think was the year that I won I won 5 welders.
5 welders.
Wow.
That's nice.
Wow.
That's a score.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
So that was a good that year. I was selling a lot of welders.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
actually, the funny part, or the part about that led into when I sold all those welders. Then that led into me keeping all the parts. I kept tips, and I had wire on the truck. I got wire on the truck, and then next thing you know, it led into all the other, the magnifiers and more helmet. And it kept a pretty good supply of stuff.
That's cool.
That's good.
But I can't wait to get all that stuff in. See, like I said, see what I can come up with all that.
Those are the pinless.
No, they weren't the pinless ones.
Lost my interest.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Hey, everybody's got standards,
Yeah. Well, hey, I tell you one thing. I wish I could get some pinless stuff. That USA stuff is virtually nil to none on ordering or getting. So
I think Gear Wrench has a pinless set now that they've been hawking.
Yeah.
I like the ones that are on the extensions.
Yeah.
That's really what I could find, I think, most useful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We have those with Torx. We have them with Torx, sockets, 12. What are they? Box square?
The triple square.
The triple squares.
Yeah.
And one more, but the ones with the Torx are really nice.
Yeah.
6 inches long.
Right.
With the Torx on it.
Right.
You said you stayed at the Venetian?
No, this year was Caesars.
You were at Caesars?
Yeah.
Did you stop at any of those
the shops?
I'm thinking about what's that Italian ice cream?
Gelato?
Gelato. Did you stop at any of those gelato stands?
No.
Dude, that stuff is crazy.
I know. Actually,
they got like 50 flavors when you walk up to the case.
Yeah.
It's freaking nuts.
Jenny spent one day over in the shop area, in that, where it looks like you're outside, that whole thing. She was over there.
It's a nice shop area.
Yeah. I'll be really honest, man. I didn't think that I would spend as much time in the actual expo that I did. But, I got up, I spent all day in the expo. I mean,
wow.
I didn't realize, because like I said, last year was so, half the people weren't there. I mean, I talked, and I did have a Monday morning, I got a phone call from one of my customers and had a little bit of a fire drill, and hopefully I got it resolved. It turned into a pretty big ordeal. It's a pretty big ordeal. So
What, he forgot to turn his ratchets off at night and they all went dead?
No, it was. I don't want to go into too much detail.
Yeah, you don't have to talk about it.
But it wasn't. I hope it gets fixed.
It wasn't pleasant.
Yeah, good.
No, and like I said, after all the years with all the vendors and how many people I just hope that we can all work together and take care of at the end result, take care of the customer.
Yeah.
So
right. That's a good goal.
Like I said, so that was
That's a good goal. So did you order a lot of cool stuff?
Yeah, I went about 9, almost 10 grand over budget. So
over budget.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's see when it comes in. Maybe
actually today, it was funny because I was in one of my shops and the guy goes, "Hey, I'm really sorry I didn't call you when you were at Expo, but is there any way you can order that side locker for my box?" And I'm like, well, yeah. So there goes another $4,200
Yeah.
over. So
Yeah.
yeah, but we didn't have a lot of really new stuff, I guess. But
I tell you, that flex head cutoff wheel is cool.
yeah,
I like that. That's cool. Especially, I mean, the flex head was okay, and I was like, But when I found out it was reversible, I was like,
that's the whole
That's
key.
nice.
yeah.
That is nice.
Because everybody, no matter how, and I don't know how many hours I have using my whiz wheel, but they always jam up on you. It's like whatever you cut, and I think it happens to everybody. So to be able to back it off is phenomenal.
And like I said, if you're cutting, I don't know what happened to mine. I just had mine out.
The cool thing is you could blow the sparks in the opposite direction.
Yeah,
That's right in your face.
That's the idea. Yeah, you just got to remember which way the wheels turn so you can ride it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's really nice. Mac had that patent forever. I mean, Mac after the 30 years, that's why we ended up with it, and we just kind of improved because you can move the exhaust. The exhaust isn't. The exhaust coming out, you can rotate, and then you also the left or right on the cutoff.
Yeah.
All the cutoff wheels I have are rear exhaust.
Yeah. So it's nice that you can move that out of the way.
Mine is too.
So we have the different colors. We got a lot of blue tools coming.
Nice.
So I
saw
to
Antron. I saw Antron holding the giant screwdriver, doing his.
Hey, Ray, I got his info, and I told him. He's got March towards the end of March. They got 2 weeks downtime, and I talked to him.
You're out in Phoenix right now testing.
Yeah. So I didn't know if you were interested.
Yeah,
he was
definitely.
He said that he said that he had thought that he was on your show once.
No, it must be another show. Must have been somebody else's.
Because he said it was. Because I told him it was a Sunday after, Sunday at noon, and he goes, "I think I did that. It was some motor guy stuff."
We've had so many. I can look back. We've had so many people on through other people. It's. I'm not going to say it's impossible. I don't recall it. So, but I know that there were guys that came in with other guys at times that you kind of forget about because it wasn't like your main guest or you didn't book them. So it's easy to. Yeah, maybe. But hey, we'll definitely put him on again. I'm definitely down for that.
Yeah. No, but Antron's a great guy. Antron.
Yeah.
I mean.
Super nice guy.
Super. I mean, super ain't the word. He does a lot for us distributors, and
he's come a long way from being a motorcycle guy.
Yeah,
right.
Englishtown being his home track.
But there he was with this giant screwdriver playing around with it. It was cool. It was like
the big old blue screwdriver.
Yeah.
So
it was cool.
And we have a new ratchet coming out. Is nickel plated type, like a black nickel, not like a black. Instead of the black ones, they're going to be like a black nickel. Looked really, really nice. That's all I need is one more ratchet. That was nice. That was interesting.
I'll have to look for that on the truck. I
was pretty excited. I like the blue-handed ice cream scooper. That was a nice. I've got a handful of those on order, along with the blue ice cream bowl. Ice cream bowl. I don't know if you saw the picture of that.
Even that bucket that they came out with was kind of cool. It was like just a big bucket.
Yeah, that's I do my ratchet bucket deal with that. I walk in with all my ratchets with that. With that bucket.
I mean, there's a case where you
ejected safely from the Mirage F1 fighter aircraft
a galvanized
at 11:11 a.m. into an unpopulated area about 15 miles northwest of base, Luke Air Force Base.
I mean, that's all you need to do. It's just that simple. Just wrap a galvanized bucket.
Oh, here was my day today. This. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, what'd you pick up? That's nice. That's
no,
nice.
that I blew out the sidewall in the truck. Had to put two
and it looks like you got a lot of tread left too.
Huh? There was a lot of tread left. That was a new tire.
Sucks.
Never happens to old tires.
No. And it took out. So then, of course, I took all. I have a shop where I keep tires for this, and of course we get there and the inner one was all effed up too. So I had to put two tires. That was 2.5 hours out of my day today, trying to get back in the swing of. Wow.
And how many hundreds of dollars? But what the hell?
Yeah, it's only. Here's our new cart. This is the new cart coming out. It's a full drawer with a power drawer on the side.
Wow.
Yeah, that's sweet. Look at that. How many drawers are in that? 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's nice.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you have the drawer for tools. We talked about the info on Tesla. I didn't. You dumbass. How can you take a? See, there was the beer and the nachos.
Yeah.
God,
that's a beer.
I could go for some of that right now, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
and then there was there's the burger.
The burger, yeah. Look at that freaking
That's
burger.
Ridiculous.
On a brioche bun.
Yeah, gotta have
Tesla.
Have you had a pretzel bun hamburger?
I have.
Yeah, man.
Those things are good.
Oh man, let me tell you something. That's the best thing they ever came out with is pretzel buns.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Here was something.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
Here was something new.
Circle K.
Wait a minute. Spark plug. What the hell is it?
This was a tool. No. This was to press the seal into the valve cover on a Honda.
Oh,
where the spark plug tube goes down through.
Right.
Because a lot of people, if you don't get that to sit right, it leaks oil. Yeah. And a lot of guys end up beating the snot out of it, and then they fuck up the valve cover.
Right.
So they made a tool it's not a big dollar item, but it's one of those, instead of doing it 3 times.
Hey, some of those cheaper tools are like.
See, I didn't get a whole picture, but see the picture in the background of the ice cream bowls.
That's cool. It's got sprinkles on it too.
Yeah,
nice.
Awesome. So I might have to have an ice cream party on the truck. I didn't get the scooper. I just got the part number for it.
That's great.
Got to get the scooper and the bowl and one of the big giant 3-gallon tubs of ice cream, and you can have yourself
What are these blue bowls? Are they special? Are they just like a Matco blue bowl?
Right.
Matco blue. And a Matco.
It's just a bowl. It's just to eat your ice cream out of.
Or cereal.
Yeah.
Half a box at a time.
So we had a Honda, BMW, Kawasaki, Yamaha, Harley Davidson, and Suzuki for the motorcycles.
Nice.
God, why is my phone blowing up with all of this Instagram stuff?
You're a popular guy.
Yeah.
No, it's just people that I follow.
Yeah.
Global Tech, Lucky, Terry, American Muscle.
Yeah, Terry's
everybody's sharing videos.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So you came back and the house was still intact. That's good, right?
Yep.
Good.
Yep.
Good.
The house was. Yeah, we had. We're in the process of our new patio / deck being built.
Oh, good.
And let's see here.
In February, that's nice. Good time for construction outdoors.
Wow.
So let's see here. They got the truck stuck in the backyard. They had to use the Bobcat and the skid loader to move it out. They got stuck in the front yard, so they've dragged that, and now
your lawn is junk.
Yeah. So I guess I'm planting. I'm planting grass this season, considering it's now a mud pit back here.
Yeah.
Go for sod. It's a lot easier.
A night in the ruts.
I'm hoping that I can get them to at least when it's time for them to leave.
I cannot believe she was voted in. She's
they can just kind of
damn thing, and she's so
skim the top layer to smooth out the yard.
Yeah, that'd be nice if they could.
Because it's a mess, man.
Yeah,
it's.
So what are they doing? They'll bring materials back.
Well, when it was funny, I think how this whole thing started. I guess if I'm thinking like a business person here, I think they were doing a job, and they had half of a load of a truck for going to the dump. So they were going to come over and tear half the lower part of the deck off to fill up their truck, to get, to have a full load to go. Because I think the contractors pay X amount for one load. It's not really weight wise. It's just they pay whatever per load. So they were trying to get the most in whatever.
Right.
And of course they came over and did that. And of course, once they started, the deck was so rotted. I mean, it was, it was in bad shape. So once they started, they said, hey, we're just going to take the whole deck, even the upper part. And, the wife was like, more power to you. So I think once they loaded the truck up, then, because we've had all that snow and rain, and it just kind of, and next thing you know, it's sinking in the ground.
Right.
And spinning the tires in the mud.
Yeah. So they got another truck back there, and I guess they unloaded some and put it on, and that truck got stuck going through the gate. And then we had one night where we couldn't close the gate. Of course, we couldn't let the dogs out because the truck was stuck in between the front yard and the backyard, wedged in the fence.
Nice.
So, and this is all before we're getting on a plane to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
This is like the day before and we're just like, the dogs want, of course the dog wants to know what's going on in the backyard,
Sure.
So I guess, I mean, in all honesty, it hasn't been as bad, but it's definitely kind of comical when you think about it. And so, and it seems like every other night we either have a bobcat lives here or a little bulldozer, so it comes and goes. So we, I guess we're also now, because officially they're working here, we're also like, a holdover parking lot for heavy equipment.
Nice.
I told the girls I'd take them out and show them 101 on how to start up a bulldozer, and we'll go for a ride.
Nice.
So,
hey, every young lady needs to know how to start a bulldozer.
Absolutely.
That's
you
right.
Never know when they're going to have to grab one.
Never know.
Right.
When that time comes, you might need to move a bulldozer.
Yep.
So,
got that cheating boyfriend, and it's time to move his truck over a cliff.
Right.
She'll know how.
That's what the forklift's for. Right through the doors.
So, of course, the wife, Jenny's on edge. She's constantly watching the cameras to make sure I don't sneak out to start up something in the middle of the night, go for a ride,
Nice.
It's like, don't you move that. They shouldn't leave it here. So,
Least they can do is let you go for a ride.
yeah.
There you go.
Maybe I'll just finish grating the backyard, smooth it out completely now.
Yeah.
Tell
They
them, look,
screwed it up,
bring me a gravel roller.
Yeah, that's it. I got one shed. I might as well go ahead and finish knocking down. So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Wow.
So,
That's been a busy week.
yeah. So hopefully, just knock on wood, and that I don't get too caught up in the back orders. That's the only other thing that I'm kind of.
Right. Yeah.
Of course, I know.
Oh, your Wells Fargo account suspended. Unless you go.
Yeah. So
hopefully, you're able to get stuff.
yeah. Did you ever get your blue screwdrivers?
I haven't seen him since a couple weeks ago. He should be in next week.
Yeah, you still haven't. I haven't gotten mine yet either. Damn it.
But yeah, our Snap-on guy came in yesterday and he had nothing on the truck. Absolutely nothing.
That's not good.
Yeah.
So what do you show up for?
Yeah, really. To collect money.
Collect money, right?
I didn't know him anything, so
that's good.
We're okay.
That's
well, the crazy part about that, it's like you said, it's waiting for the stuff to show up or to have that you take in. But you walk in and it's like, they say, "What do you got?" I just got another. They can send those flyers, dude. We get the flyers with no problem, But it's like, sure. I don't even want to give out the flyer because when somebody says they want something out of it and I can't get it.
We had that happen.
Yeah.
There was a deal with something.
To have the product on the shelf to back up what's in the flyer. And
there was a deal in the one guy's flyer, and he's, "Oh yeah, well, I want to get that." Well, I can't get it. It's on the flyer.
Yeah.
Couldn't get
it. Yeah. No, it's a real pain in the ass about that.
Power Probe sent me one of these guys, one of these USB.
Oh, the soldering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a USB and a short finder. We're gonna have them on the 27th. So
yeah. That soldering. What's the is that 750 degrees and 8 seconds or something like that?
Actually,
or 1200 or 1000.
It'll go 1000. 1112 degrees. 600 C is the max temperature.
And what's the warm up rate? Is it under 8 seconds?
You know what? Let me look at the book. I was looking through it.
We have a new one. We have a new one I just ordered, and it was I liked it because you could take the tip off of it and heat up the end, like if you're melting like if you had to melt plastic or whatever.
They actually give you a tip on this that's used.
This
is used for shrink tubing.
Yeah. Yep.
Get out of here. How cool.
Yeah, we have that. We just unscrew. I wish I had mine.
Yeah, this unscrews.
You unscrew it and you just use the tip of the.
You just go like that. It just unscrews. You just put it in. It's like a quarter turn. Lock. Done. Yeah. Let's see.
I just pull out my old 1200 watt heat gun. It's like a hair blower.
Yeah.
They tell you running time.
Shrink wrap done.
What's running 40 minutes?
It's 35 minutes on soldering and 25 with heat shrink.
Not that efficient.
They would tell you.
Does it have heat up or start up?
Well, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh.
I think I saw that somewhere.
0 to 600 degrees in 2.2 seconds.
Allow tip to reach working temperature, about 10 seconds, they say.
Yeah, ours is
that's not too bad.
Ours is 40 minutes run time and 8 seconds heat up.
Okay, so it's a little more robust.
Yeah. That was our new one. We have that, and we have a heated staple gun or heated staple to do. That's really. I've used that one actually. That came out a couple months, and that's really nice.
Oh, the staples to like fix the ripped up urethane bumper covers.
Yeah, bumpers and stuff like that. Yeah. That's really.
Those are nice.
The problem with soldering is, from an electronic background, there's nothing like having a real plugged-in electric soldering station.
Yeah.
So, and I have the butane ones that I use, and they're actually very handy if you're working, under a dash or something. You don't have a cord. You don't have to worry about that. You got to be careful with them, obviously, because So I don't know. I was curious. I saw these. I just saw it in the catalogs. Everybody's coming out with these things. Everybody's coming out with them. So that means there's probably 2 companies making all of them.
Wouldn't doubt it.
And I guess now the USB charging is the new thing. That's like with the lights and all.
Yeah, the only problem I have with all the USB stuff And as a guy that has to see the warranty end of it, is that if you get any type of liquid in that port, the tool's done.
Okay.
You know,
the port on the tool. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You know, that's why, you know, like I can see with like a lot of the lights that I have problems with, like flashlights, the small flashlights, guys won't cover the charge port up, right?
Yeah.
And they stick it in their mouth to hold it in the mouth when they're working.
Yeah.
And all that saliva and crap in their mouth and the chew and whatever they had for lunch and all that stuff gets down in there, and it just deteriorates the inside. You know, and I see it all the time. What was the other thing that we had? I haven't seen too much problem with the soldering, but I can see the same thing. You set that thing down, and if you set it in water or coolant or anything, you know, if you just set that thing down and that port gets messed up.
Yeah, the charge port on this is in the bottom, bottom of it. So I guess if you stood it straight up on a dirty table, you could pick something up.
Yeah. That's the only thing I didn't like about the one that we had was the same way. It was in the bottom.
Yeah, well, because that's right in the right underneath the battery, so it kind of makes sense.
So I'm just curious. I saw the Power Probe one at our Power Probe display there.
Yeah.
And I've sold a lot of the Power Probe, the butane one. I've sold tons of those. Those have been really great. Easy to fix, great parts. I carry all the parts on the truck. I mean, they're, you know.
They came out with a new Power Probe. Is it the 4 or is it a 3A? It's got a bigger screen on it. It's got a couple of function buttons on it now.
Yeah, that's been around. The Power Probe 3, the new Power Probe 3.
It's a 3 something.
Yeah,
or it was a 4. I forget. I don't remember.
Yeah,
because I saw it had a bigger. I watched the video. I got it in an email. It was looked nice with the bigger and you know, now you had function buttons instead of having to scroll and
right, and it had the screen rotates like your phone.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's nice.
Yeah. So like if you're upside down, it'll read the same. You know, it rotates so that you're always looking at it straight or whatever.
That's what I saw, John. One of the early videos I was watching from Sick Week. A guy, he went to work on his car and he comes out with a Power Probe. I'm like, well, there's a guy who knows how to use tools. And it was either the guy that had the wagon or the guy you know with the Camaro. It was one of them. I'm like,
really?
Okay, yeah. They knowing their stuff.
Yeah.
So and they had something else.
Well, that guy
I think they're trying to
machinist.
Okay.
I think they're trying to bring back, you know, they came out with the hook.
Yeah.
And that thing, it was too big. Everybody freaked out about how big it was.
Right.
And I think they did come out with a Power Probe 4, which Power Probe 4 is really nice, especially because it does injectors. You can get the injector pulse and so forth, which is really nice.
Right.
And that's probably about the best saying of a 4, and other than it does have more meter like stuff with it. You know, you could do you can apply amps and voltage.
We're having Dave Barden is the guy we're having on the show.
Dave Barden,
he's the marketing coordinator at Power Probe.
When that's this weekend?
No, the 27th.
The 27th?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'll be listening in on that.
Yeah. We had him on a few years ago. It was that's why I had Joe with me. We had a good show.
Oh my God. I just happened to turn on the comments. There's a whole boatload of blocks.
I just blocked them all.
Yeah.
Can you see what was blocked?
Love face XYZ.
XYZ.
Yeah, jerk off.
Jerk
off.
off.
Yeah, wet girls. Yeah. I said, you know what? block, and they keep popping. They keep coming back. Yeah. They keep coming back. I said, I'll block them again.
Totally open channel, I guess, huh?
You know what? I guess they can get in anywhere.
Yeah, well, they do. I know.
There was somebody else that was up in there too. That was
freaking assholes.
Oh, I'm gonna block that one again.
Stuff with Cletus Automotive. Who's that?
I don't know.
It's obviously either one of Cletus's ball hangers or somebody that knows him.
Right.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah,
he really is. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
smart. He's having a good time.
Yeah, that's what it's about.
Beating up on that car he calls the mullet.
Oh yeah.
That's a nice car too.
It is. You know, that's the weird part, and I think it's because he's part of Motion Raceworks that car looks the way it does. Because everything else in his fleet is absolute junkyard garbage. He's got nothing that looks good. They all look like they were just taken out of a junkyard and put together, you know.
Wow.
But that El Camino, it's got a nice paint job. It's lettered nice. It's got
the guy who's doing he did motor work and dyno work for Vice Grip Garage. He's got a car called the Soccer Mom. It's a Camaro.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that car broke down and they got it fixed.
Yeah. He rebuilt it. Yeah. He seems like a talented guy.
Mm-hmm.
Vice Grip guy?
No, the guy who did his engine.
Runs Soccer Mom.
Oh.
I forget what the name of his shop is. Yeah. But
I said, how come your wife's not driving it?
Yeah.
Right. So, a lot of really good people are running this race.
Right. How many attendees are there? Do you know?
350 cars.
Okay. Well, there you go. Yeah.
350 cars showed up. Signed up and showed up, and then there's like another 200 plus are like following. They're in what's called the sick ward.
Okay.
So they get passes. They get special treatment, the whole deal, and they get the route instructions. They're just not racing.
Right.
So they actually paid for the experience, to be like an insider.
Okay.
And and they just showed up in whatever, which is great because
that's good marketing.
If you're going to take a week off from work and you're not going to race, but you could be part of it.
Sure. I mean, they're collecting the money, so like I said, that's good marketing. They're including people, so they're building a fan base.
Let me tell you something. He took all of the best aspects of Drag Week and then manipulated some of that and came up with what I think is a really, really good idea first time out. And I'm sure that they're going to make some changes here and there.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But they did their homework and it's run real smooth. Everybody, there's no complaints,
Yeah.
So it's great. So yeah, I want to be part of it next year in one way or another.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
They'll make you a color.
What was that, John?
Oh yeah, that'd be funny.
What was that you're talking about being part of?
Sick Week.
Oh.
It's a drag and drive like Drag Week.
Yeah.
From Hot Rod, but it's here in Florida.
Oh.
They started at Bradenton.
Yeah, because this month's episode was on the fastest street cars on the Hot Rod. And Hot Rod, I was reading on the plane.
Oh, really?
They had some dude that had I can't remember what I don't have. It's actually still in. It's up. It's I meant to bring it down because they had this guy, and he was trying to do a C1 early style Corvette, and he couldn't get the aero right, so he ended up with a C7, and it was funny. They show because you had to drive like 100 miles or whatever, and he's towing, and he's got these 35 by whatever, these balloon
Slicks
tires
on the
like
side of the trailer.
Yeah, on the back of the trailer. It was the funny as hell looking, seeing him go down. And then there was some.
Was it a blue Corvette?
Yeah,
Blue with a white stripe. That guy's from, I believe he's from Canada.
Blue,
blue
and black
he won
and
Hot
white.
Rod Drag Race. The Hot Rod.
So they were
Week,
saying
the last
that
one they had.
If I can remember right, they were saying that he was trying. He had to change his rear end, the rear, because he was trying to get into the sixes.
Yeah, well, he's in the sixes now.
Yeah, but low sixes. You know, he was trying to get through the traps at something like at 230. Yeah, 237 and
a quarter mile. 6 seconds.
Yeah, he's on his way. He's on his way to the fives.
Yeah, and there was another girl. There was a girl there that was in a 55.
She's got a 55 Chevy. Yeah, I was talking about her for a while. You need to get her on the show. She's good. She
Alex
was
is cool.
nice.
That whole she was really interesting. I mean, the little write up that she had with her, it was her and her dad that were doing the traveling, and
they're here at Sick Week, and she's doing pretty well, and she's just totally awesome.
She had originally did. I can't remember what the first car was, but she wanted to. Maybe it was the 55, and she's building another car because the 55 is so streetable. She doesn't want to change it, but she's like she's getting ready to get into the fives too. She's like,
it's a whole nother car. This car won't do that.
Yeah, she doesn't
may
want
bust into the high sixes with this car, but
it's high sixes with this 55, and she's building another car, and because she didn't want to. She's changed the 55 several times, and she didn't want to make it's too. She says it's very streetable, right? I mean, super streetable, and she doesn't want to change it to.
It's a good idea.
She's not.
Yeah, the car's cool.
And there was another guy, and there was a couple
areas
guys
on it where it's got the original like rust and stuff, and then there's other areas where they
it's right here by the door. Let me go get it.
And like kind of semi-glossed it, so it looks like patina. But it's cool.
It's a cool looking car.
Very cool. Yeah, it is really neat.
Yeah, and Alex is cool too. Like I said, we met her at PRI. Got to talk with her for a while.
Yeah, I was walking through the pits, and I came around a corner from Bailey's trailer, and she was sitting in her car, and she had the laptop out. And I walked up, and she looked over at me, and I go, "I know you." She goes, "Get out of here." I go, "You're famous." She goes, "No, I'm not." I go, "Yes, you are. I know you." She was like, "Oh, God, you're too kind." So it was pretty cool. She's very cool. Yeah, that guy with that Corvette that won Hot Rod Drag Week, he blew that thing up in Bradenton.
A C7?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a box on top of the motor where the turbos feed into.
Uh-huh.
And the seam split wide open.
Oh, wow.
Something happened, and it was an internal explosion.
You okay?
That
Are you okay?
lifted the edge of this box and left a burn mark up the windshield and on the white stripe on the roof.
Wow.
I was like, whoa.
That's a tattoo.
I mean, it was literally like a blowtorch came out and up onto the roof. I was like, holy shit. So he was literally out first day because that was non-repairable. And then same thing happened with, that's the guy.
I like the tires on the outside of the trailer.
Uh-huh. Yeah, he was here, and he blew the engine up the first day. He's out of the competition. Never left Bradenton. It was a shame.
Yeah. They were talking about his overdrive unit in the car.
Gear vendors.
Yeah. But
awesome units. I looked at one while I was there. They're only like this big, like maybe 14 inches long. They're not real big, and they bolt right up. And I told the guy, I said, "What do you got for a Lenko?" He's like, "Oh yeah, we have one." Put the adapter plate on, bolt it on. He goes, 3,300. It's yours.
Nice.
I was like, okay, good to know.
Yeah, there's that.
I think I paid $3,600 for my 5-speed.
Yeah, Alex Taylor.
Yep, that's her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That car's totally cool.
Yeah.
Very.
It's nasty. It's just it just looks like a bandit kind of a bad boy's car, you know. Nothing shiny about it. It's just badass. It's great.
Oh, that was the problem. Yeah, she's only really in the 7s.
Yep.
And they say that she can get, but the problem is her qualifications on the roll bar are only for 6.5s. It won't go
650. Yeah, she needs a
she needs a 6.0.
It's a different chassis and cage.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But the only other one that I really liked in here was the old milk truck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The milk truck is there too.
Yeah, and then they had the Volvo. So,
there you go.
The Volvo.
That's a 6-second car.
Wow.
Our shop manager is friends with a guy that tuned that car.
Yeah.
He was just telling me today.
The Volvo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that car close up, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me here. And then this guy's running 6s over 200 miles an hour in a Volvo wagon.
Thing's a rocket.
Yeah. They said that he averaged 7.2s at 192.
Now he's in the 6s.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unreal.
But that was kind of crazy.
At that and you got to kind of like, you got to kind of step back and go, well, what do I do? If a guy can go 6s with a Volvo, what am I doing wrong, or where am I not spending enough money?
Car's built like a brick.
But John,
it is a brick.
This guy right here on this Nova, I don't know if you can see why is his tires so knobby? The rear tires.
Those are his street tires.
Is that the reason why? I mean,
yeah. Those are his treaded street
tires.
Why
don't they just run the cheater? I mean, the Pro Street. I mean, the ones with the groove. Why do you need? I mean, that looks like a Radial TA Monster Mutter or something.
Well, that's what he puts on when he's got to run from track to track. But when they're at the track, they're running slicks. Unless he's running a radial. The radials are kind of weird. They got like grooves in them. It's like a.
But they show that dude driving down the road, and I don't know if you can really see, but he's got his headphones on, and it's all hooked up to the trailer. See, it's all, and he's got those they're BF whatever.
Yeah.
Those knobby ass fucking tires on it.
Yeah.
That must be rough as shit.
Well, a lot of these guys are running truck tires because they run these big slicks like I do that are 33 inches tall. Some of these guys are running 34.5 or 35-inch tires. So, and they're running a spool, which completely locks the rear end up.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, you're not going to find a good street tire most of the time that's the same height as your slicks if you're running funny car tires. So they'll literally go buy a truck tire, which has a real open, aggressive tread, which allows these guys to run in the rain. Because the Pro Street tires, if you look at my tires, let me tell you something. See that tread?
Yeah, there's nothing there. Because this is on that Corvette.
If I hit a puddle, I'm spinning out with those tires.
See this on that Corvette.
That's a dirt track street tire.
Yeah. So those
that tire is similar to my tire.
Yeah.
Right. That's what he's driving on the street, and then he's got those big Bubba slicks on the trailer.
So he was running a 456, and he's going to go down to a 410 because that brings him to his 8,600 RPMs, and he'd be at 230, like 237 or something like that.
Right. Yep.
It was kind of interesting.
These guys don't run a lot of gear in their car at all.
No.
You know?
Well,
Glenn Hunter's car runs low 7s. He's been high 6s, and he runs like a 355 gear.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, but in the same like I said, it was the same car.
Yep, that's the car.
But they're talking about his overdrive unit that he has.
Yep. Yeah.
And they showed his breakdown.
That's it.
Yeah,
see, there's the gear vendors. It's not a real big unit, but it's very strong.
This was a better picture right here. They show the breakdown.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Brian, you're supposed to read Better House and Gardens when you're with your wife.
Get the Hot Rod magazine tucked in it.
I know. I walk into the newsstand thing, and they're and they'll walk over, and usually they have a couple different car, but they didn't. All they had was the Hot Rod. They didn't have anything at all.
There's not a lot of car magazines around.
No, that's about it.
Actually, I'm really kind of surprised on how the last one I bought was like
how many
nothing.
pages is that? It's
it has
ridiculous that they
106.
even. Oh, really? That's a lot.
Magazines are over. I just read in the paper today it's a magazine, maybe in the fashion world or whatever, but that there's like 4 or 5 magazines under that umbrella, and they're all going digital. They're just no one.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting because they do have a Hot Rod. They have 3 decades. 20 years, 40 years, and 60 years.
Yeah, they always did that. Yeah.
Right. And it's funny when I look at this and realize I have from 40 years ago and 20 years ago.
That's only the 80s,
Yeah, I've got all that stuff, I
got the 50-year mark
I got
already.
that cover. I mean, I know that magazine.
Yeah.
But the one thing that made me think this, because they talk about 20 years ago, and they had the March issue, and they tell you how many pages. It was 116 pages at $3.99. That was the price.
Yeah.
And then 40 years ago was 96 pages at $1.50. And then 60 years ago, in 62, was 126 pages at 50 cents.
50 cents.
And then, so today's time, 108 pages.
$8.
$8.
That's a ripoff.
$7.99.
My wife went shopping yesterday, and she'll do like a lot of small shoppings during the week for a little this, little that, and then maybe every other week a bigger food shopping. But this time she came back and she called me and says, I can't believe it, because usually when I do this food shopping, I'm dropping around 130 to 150. It was $225 this time. She goes, I mean, there's a couple extra things. I'm like, yeah, there always is. I said, don't nitpick it. I said, because it works out. I said, instead of things, I said, now it's everything must have gone up a dime, 50 cents, 80 cents. Now you're really seeing it. And they had a commercial, they had a thing on the news up here too, how supermarket shelves are pretty much in a lot of cases are empty and they're blaming it on.
I remember when we put that slug in
prices.
Luggage.
They said, it's supply chain stuff. I'm getting tired of hearing the same stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Supply chain, plus they're saying supply and demand. So when the supply is down, the price goes up. I'm like, wait a minute. When the supply goes down, how about the price stays the same and they just don't have it? Like, what's the matter with that? Why do they got to raise the freaking prices?
Everybody thinks that they're in the supply and demand business.
I know.
That's the problem.
And of course, Super Bowl weekend. So they're talking about, how your Super Bowl bill is going to go up if you're having a party. The wings, you can't get wings in some places, and
it's freaking ridiculous.
So they had a guy from Stu Leonard saying, "Hey, pizza, it's the same price as it was last year. You can have pizzas." And there was just a black woman on, and she was saying, "Yeah, I'm gonna have a Super Bowl party." She goes, "But we're not doing wings because if you can get them, they're expensive, and a lot of times you can't find them." She goes, "I'm doing ribs." She goes, "Pork ribs." She goes, "They pretty much stayed the same." That's cool.
I'd rather have ribs. The heck with those wings.
Damn right.
Yeah. If I don't really have wings, I like boneless wings.
Yeah. We had some the other night. They're good.
Things. They're delicious.
Yeah.
I got an account with the Restaurant Supply. So I go, you buy a bag like the restaurants buy at the wholesale price. It's ridiculous.
Right.
You know, I'll get a bag of those. I don't know, maybe around Thanksgiving. And there's enough in that bag. You just reach in and grab some, and you keep using them for every event that's going on.
Yeah.
And you wind up not finishing that bag till the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's great.
You know, because it's got like 300 of them in there.
That's a lot of wings.
Oh, tell me about it. Yeah, like I buy Polio mozzarella sticks.
Yeah. I love those
box
things.
of 150.
Walking around like with a cigar in your mouth, just mozzarella stick.
It's crazy, you know. They have shredded cheddar cheese, shredded cheddar cheese.
November?
You know, like to make nachos.
After we got back,
they come in 4-pound bags.
Wow. Yeah,
I think
we had homemade jambalaya tonight.
Wow, that sounds good.
It was good. The rice with shrimp and sausage, like, wow, this was with some of those Hawaiian rolls. We had the Hawaiian king rolls.
Yeah.
Oh, it was good stuff, man. It was.
And you're still able to stay awake right now?
I'm fighting. I'm fighting it.
That was
jambalaya and me.
Yeah, I will eat all the shrimps out of your jambalaya.
Yes, you will. My wife says she'll eat all the shrimp out of the jambalaya, and I can have the rest.
Yep.
Yeah.
And my wife, she got some spicy sausage too, so it had a kick to it. It was good stuff.
When the girls go away, when they do their Disney trip, I usually make a big big pot of jambalaya. That's what I eat for the week. Got a big, and I do it in a beer bath cooking, and God, it's just, man, me and the dogs all sit around with our bowls and just that stuff is
right.
That's a good afternoon. But the one thing about going back to this magazine that I thought was very interesting, or had in there, and you don't see much, it had that Pure Vision, that Stroop guy. They had one of his builds in here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, ever since this TV show, I mean, you didn't hear any, remember at the beginning of the TV show, it talked about how many different cars that he built that won Best of Show, and nobody ever heard of the guy. And then, they had the one season, and then I was really surprised they had this overhaul. It was a Mustang, what was a 72 convertible.
Oh.
Yeah, and like all they showed that whole season was that, and the car that he built for who's that guy with the podcast that's getting beat to shit these days?
Rogan.
Joe Rogan's Nova.
Right.
And it's like the whole season, it was the Nova, the Mustang, and a street rod that one of the guys that works there built.
Yeah, and his car.
That was his whole, and his car, and that was the whole season. And then the
so
guy
I thought it was. So I thought it was funny because that was like 2 years ago or 3 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
And then of course they had that article, and I guess they had to find something to put in. But I thought it was kind of interesting.
He was at SEMA, and he had Rogan's Nova was there, and he had some other stuff, and he was standing around, and some young kid walked up, and he was like, "Who built this?" And the guy was like, "Me. That's what I do." And the old man looked at him, and the kid grabbed the kid. He said, "Let's get out of here." He had this like attitude, like, I'm the best.
Right.
I was with Barb. We were like walking around the corner, and I'm like, that guy's a fucking asshole. He used to have a TV show, and he doesn't have it anymore.
So,
Really?
But I thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Oh,
there's the man. What's happening, Joey?
Hey guys, how's everybody?
Where you been? Good.
Shoveling snow off
Where
his
have I
roof.
been? You saw that, huh?
I did, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. That.
Oh, he froze.
What?
You're freezing up.
It's that Ohio internet again.
Yeah, right.
It worked. because the
Gotta pay your
water's not
bill.
leaking.
Not working well.
Hold on. Yeah. Hold on.
All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. It keeps going out for some reason.
Oh, hey, I got a question.
Are you
Anybody
there?
here get a new phone with 5G?
My phone runs 5G.
Mine.
My
We did.
brand new iPhone on Verizon. You know, as you're driving, it goes in and out of 5G.
Yeah, it goes 5 to 3. Yeah.
We'll go 5 to LTE on mine.
Okay.
But I notice that it jams up. You
Is
go
your
to open
jam
up
up
an
yet?
app, like you go to onto Google or something, or on a website, and it won't load under
Mine's been
5G.
Hmm.
And then I clear it, and then, like, I don't know, 2 miles
Could
down
be
the road,
where's
I'm
that?
back to LTE, which is
That's
like
your that's your
4G,
provider service.
3G, 4G, and boom, the websites load. And I'm saying to myself, is this an issue with their 5G, or is this an internet issue that a lot of websites are not 5G compatible?
Yeah, or
Probably.
it could be that there's an update that you need that would address it. That's probably what they'll tell you.
Because
Well, I don't-
we lost a lot of what's the right word to use? Server, like,
Bandwidth?
well, we lost like a lot of, like, our older scanners are no longer, like, you know, when Google no longer Android 4, you know what I'm saying? They no longer support it. That's not, you know, it'll work still, but, you know, you'll have, if they're not going to be able to repair or fix, you know, or have any issues, there's no support for
Obsolete.
it. It's
Well,
obsolete.
I got a brand new iPhone 13 Pro, the freaking biggest, best one they sell.
Yeah.
And when I'm here on Wi-Fi, everything loads, no problem. When I'm out in the truck and I'm in an area that's not 5G, everything loads, no problem. When I'm in an area where I see the phone kick over to 5G, a lot of websites do not load. Like, I'll be in a 5G zone and I'll go on Facebook, and it's like shadows. It just rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls, and then all of a sudden it loads.
Right.
So it's like it's telling me that there's a compatibility issue either with Verizon's 5G or with a lot of websites in general that are just not 5G compatible.
They're not 5G compatible.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Sure.
We have the
ridiculous.
same issue. We have the same, because like on my Maco, our Maco, our site for the distributors, I can't do it on anything but Google Chrome. If I don't go to that browser, it ain't gonna load on anything else. So
Real.
Oh shit! I just touched my screen. How did?
I don't know. She got something good.
Yeah.
So, but because I had a same problem like that, I'd roll into different areas, and if I wanted to go in to check on an order or check on something, I couldn't load it. And the guy says, "Oh, he goes, you just got to use Google Chrome for your browser because anything else ain't gonna load."
Well, I'm on whatever the iPhone browser is.
Yeah.
You know.
So.
And that's the way the phone is set up. I shouldn't have to change browsers to use certain apps. In other words, like everything that's on an iPhone is an app. It's like if you go on Facebook, it's an app that opens up an internet, program. You shouldn't have to mess with that stuff, in other words. So it's weird. I also notice that on this phone, which I did not have this problem with my iPhone 8, I open up my email and there'll be a bunch of headers, but the body's not downloaded.
Oh.
And
Not
it
until you
wasn't
click
like
on it?
that before. In other words, the other iPhone, which was a 3G, it was set up the way I had it. I set it up this way is the exact same thing where it scans my email every 30 minutes and brings in new email. So when I open up the phone, that stuff is there, loaded, ready for you to see it. This one here, it brings in the headers, doesn't always download the body of the email address, the email message until you open it up, and then it downloads it.
That might be like a space or
Verizon and all
option.
of these companies, they're all telling you, oh yeah, 5G, it's going to make everything download faster. Everything will be so much better. It's more compatible. I'm finding out that it's just another fucking bullshit deal.
Oh,
it's really
John,
all it boils down to. It's just bullshit.
It's the future. Come on.
Yeah, you know what? Then fucking test the future before you release the future.
You are the guinea pig.
Sounds like electric car technology to me.
Yeah. They even had that in here.
Did you see that? Did you see that meme of the coal train?
Yes.
They even had they're not going to let that 57 go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. No way.
They said right here, what do electric vehicles mean for the future of hot rodding? And then they start talking about the
Project X.
Project X.
And my poor buddy Victor. He's taking some heat. But you know what? He opened up a whole another sub corporation, and he's got a freaking waiting list of people that want to bring him cars, regular cars, hot rods, antiques, and they want them electrified.
All right, so that worked out for him.
And he's getting top dollar. He's buying these units out of GM, and he's retrofitting them into anything.
Beautiful.
Yep. So I'm like, good for you. He said once that hot rod thing hit in SEMA, he said his phone started ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
I'm like, good for you.
Hey guys, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. My computer just went stupid and took my internet with it.
There you go.
It's all John's fault. Don't feel bad, Joey.
Yeah,
5G.
well, I was going to.
He was talking nasty about 5G.
That's it. Blame 5G.
Oh. All right, I'll blame 5G, John.
It's going to give us all cancer. It's horrible.
It's going to bring down all the airplanes.
Yeah, it's going to bring.
Yeah.
Yeah, really. Oh,
Why can't it just?
2 weeks ago, remember they were talking about that deal? Oh, we're not going to be able to land the planes. And then Verizon and what was it, T-Mobile or somebody else? They said, yeah, we're gonna shut off the cell towers around the airports, so there's no problem with that. Okay, so almost every other day I have to drive over a bridge called the Howard Franklin Bridge that literally runs right by the airport. And my phone says 5G from before I get to the airport all the way till I get to St. Pete. Okay?
Nice.
So they didn't shut off any 5G towers whatsoever. And the planes are coming in and out of Tampa Airport left and right. I don't know who's lying here. Somebody's full of shit.
Why can't we direct since 5G is going to do all that damage, why can't we direct it toward the Democrat Party?
I don't know. I have no idea.
My wife thinks that's a great idea.
I want to get one of those. Did you ever see that video of this technology that's like super strong magnetic waves in the military?
EMF.
Puts it in, and it like burns your insides out. They were testing it on people out in a field.
Yep.
They got this like tight burning all of a sudden. That's what we need, handheld ones like that, so we could do that to the politicians.
Well, there was they were saying
Melt
that there
their
was
guts
an
out.
incident. I think it was overseas, and a lot of diplomats had gotten sick, unexplained sickness, and that's what they're blaming it on. They felt that they were bombarded with EMF.
That happened in a couple of different countries.
Yeah.
Microwave towers, really strong microwave towers. If you're in front of them, you're going to get cooked.
Yeah.
But that's been normal for years.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's amazing.
But yeah, I'm back home. I had to bust that ice loose because it was causing water to come in through the eave and run down the back wall, and it was dripping down out of the foam board on the ceiling right above my toolbox. And I still got buckets sitting on the toolbox just in case it comes back. But when I was up there busting that loose, I noticed like a river of water underneath that ice. And that had to be where it was coming from. So when I busted that one end loose, it poured out of there like a flash flood.
Wow.
And then it just quit leaking in here. So I'm just going to leave the buckets for now because there is still a lot of ice up there I got a sloped roof on my shop. And so it hangs around longer than it would but on a pitched roof. But I had planned on putting a gutter back there before winter after I finished renovating this shop. And I thought, nah, I'll be okay this winter. Well, I'm not okay. So.
See, you got told.
Stinks.
Yeah. But I will fix it this spring. And it's got that colored metal roof on it. And I'm pretty sure those rubber gaskets that they put on those screws are probably dry rotted and not doing their job anymore. So I got a big bag of those in the storage. I think I'm just going to climb up there and spend a day replacing
pulling
screws.
Screws and putting new ones in.
Or easier yet, just get a caulking gun and just caulk over them.
Caulking don't work. What's wrong with you?
Okay.
It only works around windows.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Actually, what you got to do is when you pull the screw out, you squirt caulk inside the hole and then put the new one in.
Silicon caulk, not regular caulking, but silicon.
Yeah, silicon,
caulk.
something that actually gels. Caulking is always it never really dries. It's like clay.
Outdoors, I use 100% silicone.
That's all I use for everything.
Yeah. I'm eating a snack. I'm sorry. I was feeling hungry. I'd been on the phone for a long time, and then I started listening to you guys, and I was missing John's smile. So I sent Ray a message. I said, "You miss me?" He's like, "We always miss you."
Things have calmed down a bit without talking about buses.
Oh man,
I saw there was a message. Were you guys live last night?
No, I wasn't.
Yeah,
I got a thing from Lewis.
Oh, he posted a video that somehow I remember that it did look like a live link when it was in my notifications, but it was just a video.
It was just a video.
Yeah.
Oh.
It was a video about.
I read it as if you guys were going to go live last night and talk about the bus.
No. We're still sharing content on our channels about that.
Yeah.
We got so much content. I don't think we'll ever get it all up on YouTube. I mean, it's just unreal how much content there is. Almost 100 gigs already been uploaded. Yeah, and there's still more. Like Lewis asked us tonight to all of our edited videos that we put up on YouTube, go ahead and share those to the drive, because one of the other channels may want to just take that whole video and put it on theirs, and give us a shout out.
I see now it's a YouTube link.
Yeah. Yep. I tell you what, it was a pleasure and a blessing to get to meet all those guys that I'd been friends with for a long time here on YouTube.
I was jealous.
I bet. Well, you wouldn't have liked the weather, but
I could deal with it for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
I'm a New Yorker. I don't have a problem with snow. I have a problem living with snow.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I should live down here for more than 5 years.
Yeah.
That's the last thing you need is snow.
Yeah, but the greatest part of that was, well, I mean, helping Lewis was probably the greatest thing, but behind the scenes when there wasn't a lot of cameras going, the crap that we were doing to each other was just hilarious. Like Arco, he comes back to the fabrication room where I'm at making the window
He's
frames.
serious about working, that guy. He's got a work ethic that's second to none.
Yeah. When the work is there, he's like gung ho. Let's get it done. Shut up, leave me alone.
You
know.
can see that in the videos.
Yeah, I couldn't mess with him when he was on that bus. I tried, but he's like, "Screw you, get out of here. I'm busy. Leave me alone." But he'd come back to the fabrication room where I was at when we were making the window frames for the camper windows, and said, "Hey, I want to do an interview with you. I'm doing that with all the channels." I'm like, "All right, that's cool." He says, "Now you got to be serious." It's like, I'm always serious. And so to keep from laughing and busting out, crying from laughing, as he was interviewing me, I just kept my eyes closed. And because I knew if I looked at him, I was going to bust out laughing. And so I kept my eyes closed, and when he uploaded that, the comments, I was reading through the comments, and one guy's like, "Joey's always happy and laughing and smiling and got his eyes wide open. What's wrong with him?" So I commented on that, and I said, "Well, he's standing on my toe, so I couldn't smile, and I couldn't look at all that ugly standing in front of me, so I kept my eyes shut." But at the end of that interview, I said, "Don't interview those Iron Horse guys." He's like, "Why?" I said, "Because they're never serious. They're always goofing off." But so much fun. And being all in the same motel was probably not the brightest idea because, you know, you could always go and bang on somebody's door and then take off running before they see you. But
Dinner.
Oh, sorry, I had a message. But overall, the guys that were on the bus, they knocked it out of the park and did that roof raising lickety split time. I mean, they had it all raised and secured on day one, and the only thing left after that was do the siding on it, you know, and the door. One of the things I'd planned to do was excuse me, was to shorten that door for the back, but I didn't get to do it during the event because we ran out of time. So I come home and then I get a phone call Monday. Lewis wanted to know if I could come back and do a few things, and so I went back on Tuesday evening and worked Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And that door, it turned out nice. I took 6 inches out of that, and then the window there, he wanted to eliminate that. So I took a piece of the sheet metal that was left over from the roof raise, and did a template, drew it out, cut it with the shears, and put it in there. It looked factory.
Cool.
It turned out real, and I'm not a sheet metal guy. That was actually my very first sheet metal job, and
there you go.
Now I have the sheet metal bug, and I can't get rid of it.
Oh boy, so he'll be buying a Beverly shear, a bead roller, a brake, finger brake. Gotta have all that.
Oh yeah.
Gotta have a slip roller so you can make tranny tunnels.
Bill Cameron. He was back there with me, and we were using Tyler's chop saw. He's got one of those Diablo blades on it.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man,
it's great.
Yeah, it ripped right through that metal and made a beautiful cut. Yeah. And he had it hooked up on a DeWalt chop saw, which was really nice. And he had it set up to where the table of the chop saw was level with the table next to it, you know.
So you can slide bars and tubes right on it and done.
Yeah, and we were cutting 1 by 1.5 tubing for the window frames, and it just cut right through it. But then I was talking to Bill while we were back there. I said, I wonder if those blades would work on our regular chop saws we have.
Different
And,
RPM.
Well, he sent me one. I got it in the mail today. I put it on my chop saw and tried it. Works perfect.
Does, huh?
Yeah. It wasn't a Diablo one.
Everything that I've read says if you're going to do the dry cut with the carbide wheel, that the motor spins slower. That they actually make chop saws that are made for those blades.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, if I can replace my fiber wheel with one of those on mine, I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah, mine is a 14-inch and it had the fiber wheel, and whenever I would cut something, it would bog the engine down or the motor down on the chop saw, and it didn't cut very good at all. With this thing, it's like it's got more power, and
really,
and it's different from the Diablo one. It's more of a diamond type blade. It takes
those diamond blades are all. I don't have one. I don't have a 14-inch.
Is that the one you posted, Joey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a review.
Makes the blade you got?
Hang on a second. Let me look.
I don't have.
It's called Lennox Metal Max. Lenox.
Oh, Lennox. Yeah.
Am I still here?
Yeah. You can buy Lennox at Home Depot and Lowe's.
Okay. Well, I don't know where he got this one. He sent it to me, and
the 14-inch in that is like crazy money.
Yeah. I don't know what he paid for it, but my phone's now going stupid all of a sudden.
Ray, did you want one with a hat or flat?
If it's a typical cut wheel, you're going to use a flat.
I mean, I don't have a diamond one here flat, but the flat would be like this, and then this will work on a die grinder.
I'm thinking on the grinder, on the grinder that I use, the Metabo grinder. I think those wheels have a hat on them.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking, because when I'm trying to get all your stuff together, and I didn't know if you needed a hat or a straight.
I'll double check. I'm pretty sure those wheels on that thing have a hat.
If you're replacing like a 4.5-inch sanding disc type, then those have a hat.
Yeah. Now this
is if you're using like a 3-inch cutoff wheel,
3-inch,
they're going to be flat.
Well, here's a 4-inch. I have a 4-inch cut too, flat.
Yeah.
I got 4, and I got one's with hat and one without.
Yeah.
You don't want to put that on your turntable.
Yeah.
That'll tear your Pickering stylus right up.
I have a Pickering that I still use. Yes, an XB15.
Yeah, Pickering and
that's a basic cartridge. It's nice.
Pickering, Shure.
I have my Shure V15 Series 4. That's my
think
favorite.
What the other one was?
Those two are my favorite. The Pickering is bassier, and the Shure is more of a mid-range. But I love the response of the Shure.
There's another company. It's a European name.
Grado.
No.
Autofon. Stanton was I think an English company, but Stanton's were very high-endy, very very high-end. It was a trebly cartridge. I didn't like them. I didn't prefer them at all.
But either you have the Torch or the Diablo for blades. Either one of them are badass.
Yeah.
The Milwaukee ones are called Torch, and
I have to roast my Sawzall.
Man, they melt. They melt pretty good. Torch.
Very cool.
The Sawzall.
And then we got these. I don't know how you say it really.
See ya.
See it.
Grotz, GROZs. They're shatterproof.
Really?
And you can bend these things.
Oh God.
Nice.
And cut. This is what we sell these. These are a little expensive, but
if they're that flexible, like if they're in a hacksaw, don't they have a tendency to bow and not cut straight?
Yeah, no, they cut. They're really good. They're a little expensive, but they're shatterproof and they work really good.
Good to know. Good to know.
What do you use to cut those stainless pipes with, Justin?
I'm using a cutoff wheel on a lot of that stuff. You know, especially you're cutting right on a bend. Kind of tough to clamp it in a vise or in a chop saw.
Put a fine blade in the bandsaw and push it right through.
Yeah.
Well, we were down a bandsaw for a while. I think it just got fixed yesterday.
Oh, down a bandsaw. You have
Yeah.
a shop that has more than one?
We do have two. But no, our big one took a crap, so
I had a huge one, and Montana Brothers still have it. I gave it to them when I sold them all the business stuff. It takes it's like an 18-foot band.
Yeah.
It's got 3 like 24-inch wheels.
Wow.
And it's got the welder right on it.
Yeah. Right.
So we would go right over to Sag Supply, and, buy like a big spool of different pitch, tooth count blades, and then measure them up, and then put them on the welder, and then you grind the weld right on the bandsaw, and then we would change them. Like we had for heavy steel, for thin steel, for aluminum. There was 3 different types of blades we used. So it was cool. Big beast that was given to me. And when I moved from 1,000 feet to 2,000 feet, the guy it was a welding shop, and he was retiring out, and he's like, well, you can have the compressor and you can have that bandsaw. I don't need them. I was like, awesome. So we had it was a 16 horse compressor.
Wow.
With it had like a 300-gallon tank.
Oh my God.
It was a big beast. But you know what? It was pretty darn quiet. It was 3-phase 220. And it had like a low kind of a rumble. It wasn't a high pitched or loud, disgusting sounding compressor. So that was good. And it was all the way off in the corner. And the bandsaw was awesome. And then when we moved into the big shop, oh my God, we had to use the forklift, and 3 guys had to tip this thing in order to get the forks under the floor plate, lift it up, and we strapped it to the forklift and then drove it down to the new shop, because the new shop was only like 1,000 feet away down the block. But that thing was big and heavy. Same thing with the Bridgeport.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, those things are ridiculous.
That
And
was
the
like
lathe.
That was like the time I pulled that drill press out of the dumpster.
Oh
Man,
God.
it was I still have it. It works great. It's awesome. It's a 1947. It's a Craftsman, but it's
It's old.
It's like one of those industrial gray green paint, thing.
Yeah.
And that thing was taller. I'm 6'3", and it's taller than me.
Jeez.
And all I saw, and it had a square base about, what is it, like 16 by 12 was the foot that the drill press stood on.
Yep.
And all I saw was the foot of that hanging out of the dumpster, and I knew what it was. I stopped.
Sure.
And grabbed the hold, and I was like trying to pull it out of the dumpster, and I had to get down in the dumpster to lift it up and over out of the dumpster. And I know where it came from, because I had asked the guy if he wanted to get rid of it, and he's like, no. And it was sitting in the back corner of the shop, and it was covered in 30 years. He goes, it doesn't work. That's what he says. He goes, it doesn't work.
He got rid of it.
Sitting back there. And it had one of those automatic starts. When you pulled the handle down, it turned on.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
I never saw that.
yeah.
So I get it home, and I was covered in dirt. I mean, the grease from wrestling this thing onto the truck, put it on the lift gate, threw it in the truck, strapped it down. and I must have used a gallon of what's that stuff called?
Mineral spirits?
No. Super clean. Super clean. That's it, Ray. That's your key. There we go. And this hour is brought to you by Super Clean. I used a gallon. I sprayed that stuff down. I hosed it off. Fired up the compressor, blew it all off. And this is all like, midnight. I'm doing all this stuff out in the driveway, and I got the hand cart. I rolled the drill press in, and I was like, well, I got to go to bed. Well, I got to see if it works first,
Right.
So I plugged it into the wall, grabbed the hold of the handle, pulled it. Oh, man, there's a ground something. No wonder it doesn't work.
You're on the ground.
Thank God I wasn't standing in the water. I mean, that would have just ended my evening right there.
You'd have been super fried.
God.
No. So I took the next day I took the motor and the wire, and you can see where it was grounded out.
Yeah.
From the extension cord, fixed it. Works like a charm, perfect. Man.
That's great.
That thing is awesome. But that automatic start was pretty cool. You pulled that handle,
cool idea.
And it rolled a switch up and turned it off. It's pretty cool.
That's a great idea because it's a dead man switch.
Yeah. I got to say though, there's a lot of times when I put a bit in a drill bit that you come down and you want to find your mark before you turn it on. So
is there like a master power?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, so you can do that.
But I like the automatic start. That was pretty cool.
That's a great dead man switch. You don't see that on drill presses.
I have never seen one. No.
So maybe.
I mean, I've had times where I'm drilling something, and I got to get it done, and I don't have the vise bolted to the table.
Oh yeah,
and it catches, and then all of a sudden it starts spinning around, and then you got to reach up and you got to shut the switch.
Yeah. Well, I'll say two things. A lot of times I leave my vise floating so that it could find its own center.
That's true.
And most times if it's moving around, that bit is grabbed into the metal already. So even if you stopped it, it's going to
that one has a hat. This is only 3 inches. You want to see if I have a 4-inch on that?
That's what goes on that thing. I don't have the shroud on it.
This one has a shroud now. That's 3-inch on that.
I do the shroud. I think I'll have to go outside and measure it then.
All right. Because that looks like a 4-inch grinder.
It could be. It very well could be. I'll check it tomorrow. Now that's something that really pissed me off. It's a Metabo grinder, and the cord where it comes out of the back of the grinder, the rubber on the cord deteriorated.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to just go in and change it. So I take the back of the thing apart, and they did something. I don't even remember what it is. It's a couple of years ago that I looked at it, but I put it back together because they designed it in such a way you can't just change the cord. And I said,
you got to take the whole freaking thing apart.
Yeah. And I said, you know what? Every screw you take out and every piece of plastic you take off gets you further and further and closer to not getting it back together again. And I said, at least now it works. If it electrocutes me, so be it. So I'll be like Brian.
Did I ever tell you the belt sander? My dad has a belt sander from his father, and it's like one of those Art Deco 1947.
Nice.
And it's huge, and it's chrome, and it's got red fin. It looks like a 57 Chevy or something, or a Cadillac, 59 Cadillac. I mean, this thing. So it was sitting at my dad's house, so my parents' house. And it was in a big box, green box, And I was like, Dad, what's that? And he goes, oh, that was Dad's belt sander. I said, oh, yeah. And he goes, it's very sexy. And, of course, you open it up, and it's like, God, this thing is beautiful. I said, Dad, let me do it. He goes, no, you can't use it. And I'm like, but Dad, this thing is, like, awesome. And he goes, don't use it.
Uh-huh.
And he puts it all back. He has like it's like terry cloth towel, you know, like you used to wipe down a weapon. You know, he's like cleans off the chrome, closes the lid, puts it back on the shelf. And every time I'm like, Dad, you know, let's get this bad boy out. And don't. That's Dad's. Don't touch it. So of course, when my dad passed, what's the first thing I do?
You went and plugged that baby in.
I went down. I grabbed that sexy belt sander. I mean, it's like 6-inch belt. I mean, it's huge. I mean,
you want to smell the brushes burning.
And I'm like, we're going to try this thing out. I plug that sucker in. I grab a hold of that thing. And I was like, okay, now I know why it goes back in that box. I wiped it down. I put it back in the box, and I put it back on the shelf.
I say, that's what you're like, damn, Dad, why couldn't you finish the freaking sentence?
That was sick. It's beautiful, though. Man, it's like Art Deco at its best.
They did make some beautiful stuff back then.
Yeah.
That's the Lowy era, you know?
Man.
So, cars, planes, trains, appliances.
Well, I guess I'm back.
You're back.
I'm having all kinds of trouble. I just went in the house, unplugged the internet box in there, grabbed me some cookies, counted to about, counted to 30, plugged it back in, came out, turned the internet box on in the shop again, rebooted the computer, rebooted the phone. Now I'm here. And I got a friend that's listening to us from another app, I guess. But I want to tell you a quick story about her. I was talking to her on the phone tonight, and I said, you want to be my Valentine? I said, Valentine's coming up soon. You better take me up on it before I spend all my money on car parts. Her reply is, spend it on car parts. I want to see what you make. I thought, wow, that's my kind of girl. Too bad you live in freaking Fresno.
Does she want to come on with us? We got some, we got a space.
I don't know. Let me see.
We got a few minutes left, and I'm going to get out of here. It's almost getting 12 o'clock. I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
Oh, you're still young.
Says the guy who's younger than me.
So, hey, I got a buddy from Westchester. Known him for years, and he's a drag racer, and he was a customer of the shop. And every year at this time, he comes down, and him and his buddies, they ride their motorcycles from like Tampa down to Key West. So he asked me if he could leave the bike trailer at the shop. So I was like, oh yeah. He goes, I want to see the cars. I was like, yeah, awesome. So we went to the shop, and I have 2 sets of aluminum heads sitting on the shelf there that I got. One set's Brodex, and the other set is from Canfield. And he's like, dude, he goes, you got about $6,000 worth of heads sitting here, you know? I was like, really? I said, I was given those heads. He goes, yeah. He goes, these are really good heads. He goes, nice. and the Canfields have had the right kind of work done to them. I was like, oh, awesome. And then when we came to the house, I made him look at the Brodex heads that are on the motor that came with the Trans Am. And he was like, these are really good heads too. I go, so what happened with the motor? He goes, dude, I don't know. Take the intake manifold off. He goes, you probably got a bad lifter. He says, or it took out the cam lobe. He goes, but he says, these heads that are on here, he goes, this is no nonsense. He goes, these are big heads. I was like, oh, so we can make some serious horsepower with them. And he's like, yeah, absolutely, man. He goes, you got a lot of money tied up just in heads.
Yeah.
I was like, thank God. And then this lonely motor that's going to go in the 70 has got steel oval port heads.
Yeah, hey, they work too.
One of the best running Camaros we've ever had in the shop was just a regular old big block with a set of steel heads, and that thing ran.
Yeah. Well, the whole time that I owned that black Trans Am, it had steel, open chambered, rectangular port heads.
Uh-huh.
And the motor made 680 horse with steel heads.
Yeah.
It was the kind of stuff that it should have never did what it did.
It's really that valve arrangement that does it,
Yeah. I mean, it was the right pistons, the right cam, the whole deal. But I know when we were there and Lee put that thing together and then put it up on the dyno and broke it in and then made a pull, and without tuning, it was right around 630 horsepower. And he was like, something's wrong with this dyno today. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, I wasn't expecting this much horsepower out of this motor on the first pull.
Wow.
And then he went in and he rejetted the carburetor and he wound up, high sixes. And he was like, dude, he goes, whatever this combination is that we put together, he goes, I got to make sure I don't lose that grouping. He goes, because obviously it works really well. And that motor was just totally awesome. And people would look at it and go, oh, how could this car be that fast? It's got steel heads. I was like, I don't know. It just works. It's karma. Maybe I'll get the same out of this one here. But I never had an oval port motor. To me, oval port motors always meant truck motors.
Yeah.
But I've been reading that these oval port heads can actually be, you could flow some pretty good air through them.
That hood that you posted a picture of on Instagram.
I can't wait to put that hood on the car.
Is that a repop or? That's
brand new, but it's fiberglass from an aftermarket company. VFN.
I got you. Okay, yeah.
But it's a lightweight bolt-on hood. It's got the edges all around it like a stock hood.
Yeah, I love those 2 cent scoops on it.
What's weird though? The scoops are open, unlike a stock hood where they were literally closed.
Right.
And then the Pontiac hood, there was a fiberglass underneath section.
Yeah.
Where the air would flow through, and then there was 2 circles where they would put these rubber cups that when you shut the hood, it would sit down on a dual snorkel air cleaner.
Yeah.
And even if it was ram air, if you look at a stock Firebird Formula hood, there's a set of slots underneath the hood that are grabbing the air as it comes through the grill and hits the radiator.
Oh, wow.
And the air goes in those slots, and then it goes back into the air cleaner. You don't open up the front, because if you had the front open, you drive in the rain, that water goes straight in.
Yeah.
So this hood, they don't have that inner piece. They didn't do that kind of engineering.
Yeah.
And I guess it was the way the mold is. They're wide open. So I think what I'm going to have to do is close them off.
Yeah. Yeah, I love
put
hoods
something
like
in
that.
there and glass it in. I didn't know that they were going to come wide open.
Yeah.
Because all that's going to do for me, I'm going to have a round open element air cleaner on this car. Having those scoops open is just going to blow all kinds of shit underneath the hood.
I did the same thing on my GTO, John. I had the single hood scoop in the middle, but I had one where I cut the middle out and I put it on, and the engine bay just got filthy. Just terrible.
Yeah. I
one back in.
When we finally get on my 59 Impala, what I want to incorporate into the hood of that car, because the hood is just boring. There's nothing there to make it look sexy. And so what I'm going to do is cut a hole there in the middle of the hood where it needs to be, and take one of the shaker scoops from the like the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am.
Yeah.
And that line in the center of that scoop will line up and look almost factory with that line, that body line on that hood.
So you want to use the later second gen scoop.
Yeah, I'm thinking probably
77 to like 80 or 81.
Yeah, I was thinking 79.
If you go with the earlier ones, 70 to 74, they're very rounded and bulbous looking. It wouldn't match up with that body line at all.
Yeah. The 79 that I had the more of a like a body line to it. That
kind of angular.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the one I'm going to use on that. I think it's just really going to set that hood off to
that'd be cool.
Really cool. And I've been watching Hog. What is his name on there? Hog Hunter's Garage on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's taking a 67 or 68 C10 pickup truck and doing the LS swap on it. And he's not buying any aftermarket parts. And he's showing you step by step how to use the original computer, the wiring, and remove everything you don't need. And basically doing it on a budget. And it's turning out beautiful on that truck. So,
cool.
Yeah. But I can't wait to get on that car, and I hope it'll be early next year that we finally get to it.
Yeah,
so.
In fact, I haven't worked on it in 2 weeks. There's so much crap going on.
Your mic is messing up, John.
Oh no!
Really?
Hey, bro. Oh, you're back now, I think.
Yeah, you dropped out a little bit. That's all. Nothing.
Yeah. Lewis is going to have to make one of us a moderator for the chat because there is so many people posting pornographic crap in the chat, and there's no one blocking them.
It's this week. I've been blocking them as they come up, but it's just been this week that's happened.
Yeah.
It would be so nice to find one of these guys.
Oh, and then,
I wish there was I gotta get friendly with somebody that's like a dark web hacker.
Yeah.
It would be so nice to be able to track somebody's IP address, find out where they live, and go grab them by the fucking neck. Say, here, you posted this on my page.
Yeah.
Boom!
Yeah. Smack them around a little bit.
Oh, that would be because they're going to wind up being a little nerd.
Yeah. Yeah. In their mom's
skinny
basement.
Little son of a bitch in mom's basement. Yeah.
Yeah. Let me show you what my friend Kelsey sent to me. She's an artist, and she does a lot of like graffiti stuff. She did this picture of graffiti and then turned it into a sticker and sent it to me. It is so cool looking. Check that out. And it's a glossy type sticker, and you can see her name at the bottom, I think is what that is. But she's on YouTube. She's always on there teaching people how to do graffiti. I tried getting her.
What's the overall design? I can't make that out.
It's got her name, Kelsey, in purple lettering, and then it's got graffiti all around it.
Okay.
Let me show it to you again. Maybe now that I explained it, you'll see it better.
Yeah, I saw the K. I made that out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Kelsey, Kelsey.
I see. I can make it out. Yeah, it was actually kind of almost too close.
Yeah. And that tag at the bottom, that's not her name. That's just a peel section.
Easy peel. Yeah.
Oh, I thought she was easy.
No. She's not your type. She's a good girl. She goes to church. So you can't corrupt her. Plus, she loves her husband and her dog would kill you. So
that's good.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But anyway, so you guys are like getting tired over there. Just use toothpicks, Ray.
I'd rather just go up into my nice, comfortable bed and close my eyes and just
there you go.
Look at the back of my eyelids.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you got somebody that can take over the show if you're going to go?
I'm hitting the road too myself.
No,
I got to get up.
Yeah, the after show is officially going to be over.
Yeah. Well, I just
We're heading
looked
on
at my
3
clock.
hours now.
Yeah.
I just looked at my clock. I actually probably should go to bed too. It's almost midnight here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Bright and hearty.
We did our bit.
But John and Justin and Brian and Ray, it's been great to see you guys.
Yeah,
You too, man.
Pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Got to get ready to run those credit cards.
Yo ho!
I appreciate
ran
you.
mine.
I appreciate you checking my content out and watching the build videos. I'm going to be putting up another one. We're trying to stagger it between channels. Iron Horse is going to put one up this weekend, so I'm probably going to slap another one up tomorrow that I've already edited out.
Did you see the latest one that Arco did? He did a video with no audio. It was like a mime.
Yeah.
I was a little different. It was a little strange, a little different.
Yeah.
Of course, Elmo got tossed off the bench.
Yeah. That's my Elmo. They stole it.
And he says he doesn't know where it is. He's
They abducted him from the build and took him to Minnesota. Yeah.
He's out there freezing.
Yeah. And they've got him hooked on booze and drugs now. And did you see the pictures they were posting? He's laying on the sidewalk in front of a bar. You can see the beer sign in the background. He's like, Then they got him laying on the side of the road in a pile of snow, drunk. And Heidi's holding him one time, gagging him with her fingers so he can't yell for help.
Yeah.
And
Poor Elmo.
Poor Elmo. He's so corrupted. He'll need all kinds of counseling when he gets back to Ohio.
I guess the thing is, let's not go to their house and sleep overnight because you never know what's going to happen to you.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly. You might wake up with chaps on and
right.
No, I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, good idea.
I'll let your imagination figure the rest out.
Oh boy.
But Ray, I appreciate that picture you sent of the Batman car you're driving.
Yeah. That was actually car number 6. That's a real Batmobile from the 66 TV show.
Wow, that is awesome. How much rust is under it?
How much what?
How much rust is under it? Any?
Not a lot of rust. It was kind of a dog to drive. The 390 in it is very tired.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was burning oil. So they did a video.
That's just a smoke screen.
Well, when we came back into Captree and I decelled, it was blowing oil. So the video guy like overlaid flames over the oil smoke, so it looked like fire and smoke.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. But yeah, it was a dog, but it was the real car, so it was a piece of history.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Would it be okay to share that out on Instagram and tag you in it?
Sure.
I want to let everybody know I have backup. So.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. And I want to say this: one of my biggest highlights of the event was when Stacy David was on the live with us.
Right.
I hadn't been up there to talk. Well, I had been up there to talk to him already, and somebody else had went up, and he started laughing. He's like, "I need to know which one of you is Batman."
Yeah.
I walked back up to the camera. I'm like, "It's me, sir. I'm so sorry." He's like, "No, I loved it. You were so funny." And I thought, great. I teased everybody about it the rest of the day. I'm like, well, hey, he picked me out personally.
Surprised he couldn't tell who you were even without the mask because your chin kind of gave it. I don't know. It's whatever. No, that was good. Him and Kevin Tetz, those were great interviews. That was good.
Yeah, I enjoyed both of them, and
good stuff.
Such a great blessing to be a part of that and meet all those guys and do that. Basically, Lewis got something done that it takes other people doing it months to do.
Yeah,
sure.
And did it in one day as far as raising it. That was the whole objective. Raise the roof. Didn't mean you had to finish it, but get him over that hump so he could finish it out. And he got it covered completely before he took it home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked nice.
Yeah, it turned out nice. It did. And I'm proud of that job because that back door will always have my signature.
Yeah.
Just look at the bad welds and you'll say, yep, that's Joey.
Yeah. Well, you're being a sheet metal guy now. Those welds will get better.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I got some sheet metal laying over here on the welding bench. I'm going to play with some tomorrow. And as soon as the snow melts, there's like 8 quarter panels and doors laying out back in the junkyard. I'm going to cut some sheet metal off of those and bring them up here and make something out of it. But
cool.
I gotta order me one of those metal shears like I used in the video when I made that template. Those things are so easy and trick to use that I didn't have to do a lot of grinding with the die grinder after that to get it to fit in that hole.
Right.
And the way you've seen them, they got that bit in the middle with guards on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And that outer guard, I just ran that right along the top of the Sharpie mark that I did, the outline, and it cut it out almost perfect.
Yeah.
I only did like 3 test fits, and all of a sudden, bloop, popped right in.
There's another set of shears you can get, which I found worked better than the one with the middle blade that moves up and down.
Yeah, yeah.
And I bought one. It's from Makita. There's a couple of companies that make them though, and it uses 2 square bits that you would use on a lathe.
Yeah.
But it mounts them at a 45-degree angle.
Okay.
And it goes up and down against the top blade is on a piston that goes up and down.
Yeah,
The shoe allows you to go right through without really distorting one side of the metal.
Yeah.
And I use that because it makes a lot smoother turn. You can make very tight turns with it.
Yeah.
Works really well. And then as the blades wear, it's the little Allen keys, and you take the Allen key out and you rotate the blade 90 degrees.
Yeah.
And then after you've done that, it's almost like a nibbler, but it's not. And then after you've done that 4 times, you take the blade out and you flip the blade around. So you literally each one of these square bits that you would use in a lathe, it's got 8 cutting surfaces.
Okay.
So you rotate, and then you flip the blade, and then you got another 4 rotations.
The problem is you got to remember where you are in the rotation and the flipping.
Yeah.
But if you're using it for like just typical sheet metal and aluminum, I mean, I bought mine in the 70s.
And you're probably still in the same.
I still have the original blade, and I've only moved it once.
Wow.
So you don't use it a lot.
It just keeps cutting.
Oh, I got
but when I had the chassis shop, that thing was on every single day, to the point where I actually replaced the power cord over the years like 3 different times.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: like when you got a piece of metal and it's got rounded ends that you have to cut the material away.
Yeah.
What happened with me is I couldn't seem to get it to go around the line all the way around, so I'd have to cut a little ways and then cut that section off and then start over.
You can cut outside of it, and then come back and cut it again. That one with the one that moves in the middle, you got to kind of like lean it to get it around a turn.
I wasn't doing that. Okay.
Yeah, it's really good for relatively straight cuts. And you can zip through sheet metal real fast with that.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good for, like, accurate work.
Yeah.
So either the one that I told you about from Makita that's got the blade that moves up and down, or you can cut close, and then depending on the gauge of the material, just use, like, I used to use the red handle, which is a right-hand curve.
Yeah.
Aviator snips.
Yeah. So you can use the old style, right and left and straight.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and go right around it.
Red, yellow, green.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
or get what they call a Beverly shear.
Yeah.
And that's a Beverly shear is awesome. I bought one. I bought one from Eastwood, a 7-inch, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because you pull the handle down and it cuts. And then you push the handle up and slide the material, and you can make left turns and right turns. And the only thing that's bending is the scrap. It rolls the scrap underneath the shear. And you can go as fast as you want or as slow as you want, and you can literally cut right on your template line, first shot. And because of the way the blades are, they're curved. One goes up, one goes down, and they go past each other. No kerf whatsoever. You don't have to touch the end.
Ooh, John,
ready for you to do whatever you got to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this, like you were saying, you had to lean it a little around curves. I didn't do that. trying to keep it flat as I went, and I had to just keep going off.
Yeah, if you lean it, you'll be able to get it around a curve.
Yeah, I'll try.
Again,
that
it's not
time.
made for tight, radius curves at all.
Yeah. And how I got that so perfect is I searched all over that shop trying to find something that's round that I could use on the poster board for the template.
Yeah.
And I went into the kitchen to get some coffee, and I look over my shoulder, and there's a big supply of pots and pans sitting there.
Yeah.
I found one. It looked almost the size of that those round spots in the door. I took it back, set it in there, perfect fit. And so that's what I did. I laid that out and drew around it, and then
when I had the shop and we had to make something that had to have a curve, whether it was most of the time it was for when you're doing like a bead roll,
Yeah.
I went out and bought one of those templates with all the little circles in it.
Yeah.
And then after a while, that thing it hardens and it cracks, and you wind up gets loose. We would use everything. Solo cups. The bottom of the cup is one radius. The top of the cup is another radius. I would grab a roll of masking tape.
Yeah.
Anything that's got a curve on it works perfect, as long as it's the radius that you're kind of looking for.
Right.
When you're, because we used to use them all the time for doing bead rolling. We'd lay out the design, and I would just grab whatever was around. I'd be able to look at it and go, okay, I need a solo cup. And I would trace the bottom of it, Or something that was big, we'd use the top of the cup or the roll of tape. There was always something round. Sockets. I'd go to the toolbox. I need something real tight radius, 13, 15 sockets right around it, It's whatever you got, you make it work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've used the caps off of spray cans and this stuff, but that job, I was kind of worried. How am I going to make that turn like that round in the template? And when I saw those pans, I thought that one right there has got to work. And when I got my coffee ready, I grabbed that pan and kind of snuck through the shop with it and got over there and set it on there. I thought, oh yeah. And then I drew it out on the template, then cut it, set it. I thought, oh yeah, we got it going now. But I do have a confession on the door. I was doing like quick blast with the torch to fill in those where it was cut at, so I wouldn't blow a hole. But I got to the driver passenger side and was welding it up, doing the quick blast, and I got carried away and blew a hole. And Tyler, he came back. I showed him that. I said, I am not a sheet metal welder at all. And so he cleaned up the welds for me. So I have to confess that he saved me on that. But anyway,
it's all a matter of the right heat, the right wire size, the right wire feed speed.
Yeah.
When you do it long enough, and if you got a machine that's got the chart inside it, and you start by using what they recommend, and then you change the speed, maybe change the heat a little bit, you could get it to the point where you could have two pieces of sheet metal, and you could literally run a bead the same way you would run a bead if you were doing a roll bar.
Right.
When you got the right wire and the right speed and the right heat setting, amperage setting, you pull that trigger, and it's just like welding on a roll cage.
Yeah, and the welder we were using is the Everlast MIG welder, and it's got this digital screen on it where you can choose your gauge of metal, and it automatically picks the heat and speed and everything for you once you choose your metal thickness. And this was 16 gauge metal, and so as soon as we chose that, it went straight to those settings for that. So, but I'm going to shut up. You guys are getting tired. Hey, Jason and Slingshot in chat. Good to see you guys. But I'm going to shut up so you all go to bed. Ray.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it. So for Lewis Lee, who couldn't make it tonight, playing in traffic was another success with Joey from Mill Creek Fab. Of course, Justin, the fantastic welder from the Hot Rod Shop up there in up north where it's cold. Medical Man Brian, our favorite, back from Vegas with his great burger stories. Of course, Chassis John, who we always try to follow him home, but we can't. So we learned something.
If we made it there, he would have work for us. I guarantee it. Yeah. And Brian, you know, if you want to sponsor my channel with an air scissor thing or whatever for doing sheet metal, I'll be happy to take it.
No problem.
All right, cool. I'll get my address to you then.
Yeah, you walked into that one.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, just stand by the mailbox and wait for it.
So that leads us to our host for tonight, Ray Guarino from Motormouth Radio. We're signing off. We'll see you guys on Sunday on the show, and then we'll be back here next week, and we'll do this all over again, like always.
Like always.
That's it.
Been a pleasure. Great seeing you, Brian. Good to see you back.
All right, guys. Take care.
I'll send you a message tomorrow about that grinder wheel. I'll let you know.
Yeah, please do.
All right.
Get that stuff.
Good night.
All right.
Later.
See ya.